Folks, it's finally here. What's up? It's so bad it's good. This is your pal Ryan, and we are covering the season finale of season 5 of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Oh my God. I have gone through a range of emotions with this particular episode that aired on Wednesday. It is Friday night right now, and we're going to talk about all of it. I mean, just listen, buckle up. This is going to be a minute. This is going to be a while. Listen, it might be one of those times to play my voice at 2 times the speed if you want to get through this, because I have a feeling this might be a long one. I guess they're all kind of long ones. Just to remind everybody listening or listening for the first time, these are long form podcasts. So that's some people's speed. It's not others, and that's totally fine. But we're gonna have fun. We're gonna make some points. I got a lot of thoughts. We're going to talk about what it means for the future of Salt Lake. We've got an exciting 3-part reunion coming up that looks amazing. Wow. How are you? Are you guys okay? You're good? You're okay, good. You're at the weekend, I think. It's Friday night now, so you will be listening to this maybe over the weekend, maybe next week, maybe in 2026. I'm glad you're here whenever you're listening to this. Today, I just put out an episode a couple hours ago with Phaedra Parks because she did a sponsorship thing with Silk Almond Milk, which I actually do drink. So it was like a quick 16-minute interview, but we got to talk about a little other things. But you don't pass an opportunity to talk to Phaedra. But then I had to do I felt like that's not enough for any listener. So I put an hour pop culture roundup where I talked about Southern Charm, Southern Hospitality, Paige DeSorbo, and the rumor of the new guy, Justin Bieber, Justin Baldoni, and Blake Lively. We kind of ticked the TikTok ban. We ran through the gamut. So that's there. You might not know it's there, but it's there. If you subscribe, it'll tell you when new episodes come out. But I put out a lot of episodes because right now that's the only thing that, I mean, I've always done that. But right now, especially with everything in the state of the world, the state of California, it's just one of those things that makes me feel a little less small. So I'm glad you're here, and we're going to have fun. Yeah, where do we start? That's how you know what we'll start with is that I want to say, and I want to do another episode. Maybe I'll do a Patreon because I don't know if a lot of people would understand the episode I want to do. It's just about honoring the legacy of the filmmaker David Lynch. David Lynch has meant a lot to me, and you'd say, well, that's weird. He did very different movies than reality TV. But if you recall, starting last season, I started describing Real Housewives of Salt Lake City as Lynchian, as like a David Lynch movie. Because Salt Lake City, more than any other Housewives franchise, you would sometimes be like, whoa, how did wait, what? How did we get here? It felt like you were in like a fever dream. Like you would see, you'd hear the choral music, and you would see these snow-capped mountains during the daytime, but it was like a daytime horror movie, Salt Lake City was. The mean streets of Salt Lake City. And you would have these leaps in these characters having real, actual emotional scenes that meant something. And then they would leap to this fight, and you wouldn't really necessarily see or understand how they got there, but they were fully committed, so you didn't question it, but you're like, this is weird. This is abstract. This is art. That's right. I think Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is art. But there is artifice to it. There is a falseness to Salt Lake City that I actually enjoy, whereas the falseness of other reality shows or sometimes other Housewives franchise, they can't pull off fake. It just reads fake and not enjoyable. So there are elements, and you especially see them in the finale, that are fake as, kick the kids out of the room for this next part, fake as fuck. Hey guys, let's pull out our phones and take up the worst thing that we ever wrote about each other and then pass the phone to the person and they read it out loud. Are you kidding? Insane on every level, and I love every level that it's insane on. Are you kidding me? Just logistically, that scene isn't real because you guys know you have phones. You've talked mad shit about somebody, and you've had your phone for decades, or a decade at least, maybe, hopefully. Shout out to people still that don't have a cell phone, I guess. But there's no, let's whip this out at this last dinner in Puerto Vallarta and find it exactly. No, there's no way, because you can even see their phones, and it looks like some of them, they're screenshots. So they found it and screenshotted it. Mary Cosby, I think Mary Cosby gave up and just wrote hers out because it doesn't even sound like it's in a text with somebody else. It is so staged, but it is also weirdly effective. Heather Gay, oh, Heather, man, just by happenstance, I happen to have finished Heather Gay's second book. I got it from the library. I listened to the audiobook, her book, Good Time Girl. I just finished it yesterday. And I would, it's hard to tell like if it's like thumbs up or thumbs down on this book because it's really dependent on when you listen to it. And I probably didn't do Heather Gay any favors by listening to it in one of the weirdest couple of weeks of not of my life, but like, I mean, obviously there's just such tragedy going on with the fires on my nose. I've been on a lot of medicine. So I listened to this book during that time period. And at times I was like, give me a fucking break. Oh, are you kidding me? So there would be times we'll get into it, but it is weird because it provided so much context for this specific episode, especially because we have to then bring up Monica Garcia. We have to bring her into the fold. And so there are multiple storylines, or at least one, that is set up on such a false premise, not just the passing around of the text, but that we really have to buy into, like we talked about the end of the last season, that finale that was done brilliantly, that we really have to buy into Monica Garcia was truly, I mean, true evil that infiltrated the ranks. That just turned the sisterhood of these ladies on its ears. And it's made them paranoid and frantic and frenzied and feral. You really have to buy into this. And it's hard because Heather Gay wants to think of herself as the reliable narrator. Heather Gay also is potentially in this cast somebody that is probably the clearest thinker, and also somebody that has grown up as a fan of reality television shows. And all of these things, she's talked about it, but she's also talked about it in her books. And there's this thing where I think Heather knows exactly what she's doing. We talked about this at the end of last season, especially, and I don't think producer plant is the word or the phrase here that I use sometimes, but her producer hat is on. She is thinking, what's the biggest bang for the buck we can get in these scenes? So it is interesting though. So I don't believe they knew what each other, what they were going to read or what the text message was, but I did think it was like a group email, probably from production, saying, this is what we're thinking and this is what we're going to do. But I will say, like, I am 98% sure of this. But even with that, even with a false premise or like a setup premise, hats off to these ladies for still agreeing to do it, for participating at all. Like that's the thing that excited me, is that other franchises like Roni or something like, they wouldn't do it. They'd be like, that's just no. Like these people threw themselves in harm's way, threw each other in harm's way about the hatred they have. This cast hates each other. That's the other thing. Let's not normalize thinking of these ladies as actual friends, because I think then it gives us an excuse to like completely be complete assholes to our actual friends. Cause you're like, I saw the ladies of Salt Lake do it, and they're still buddies. And I love that the one person at the end of this episode that can't follow the assignment is Barlow. I mean, and that's classic Barlow. You want that. You want her to be the one that's like, that's a bridge too far. He does not circle. He does not watch me make out with a girl while he's getting a hand job. Like, did I ever think in a million years that I would hear circle jerks brought up on a Bravo show? No. Am I thankful that I heard circle jerks on a Bravo show? Yeah. I had a weird conversation with God thanking him for allowing Salt Lake City to have the phrase circle jerks in a TV show. And for all the people out there that potentially don't know what that is, we'll get into that later. Trust me. Okay, so just watching this episode, you know, we talk about escapism and we talk about the times for escapism. And obviously, it's been like, you know, a crazy couple weeks. It's been a crazy 2025 so far. And I think Wednesday was the first time where I was like, okay, I think in this area we're at that we're not going to have to like skedaddle like we did the previous Wednesday when the fire broke out at Runyon Canyon. So there was this element of I got my work done during the day and I was so excited to sit down and watch because I was like, what is going to be expected? Like my mind was full of this, like what the possibilities could be. And we were 8 minutes into this episode and it was the 8 Lisas, everybody dressed up as Lisa Barlow and Whitney Rose leaving the tag on the, I mean, it was so perfect in its execution because Whitney would have had to know that she would have had to turn around, walk around Lisa Barlow to be like, you have a tag on your dress. And Whitney to be like, yes, that's because I'm going to return it later like you do. And Lisa, these two women, here's the deal. I think Whitney doesn't hate Lisa Barlow, but I think Whitney will not, she won't bend the knee for Lisa Barlow. She will not. She's like, F it. I'm throwing myself like, no, I'm not bending the knee. And Lisa Barlow so openly hates Whitney and so openly hates Whitney, but at the same time manages to be funny in her hatred. This is a cast of skilled comedians. And hey, I don't see too good, folks, but that Angie Katzenavas, is that a stand-up comedian? I mean, the preciseness of the joke element of what she wrote about Bronwyn Newport, who is one of my favorites and a great, excellent new cast member. But what she wrote, it felt like it was Nikki Glazer or John Mulaney. It was smart and it was funny and it was nasty and it was dirty. I was like, Angie Katzenavas, what the hell? When she read her, I was aghast. So anyways, 8 minutes in, I'm already like, whoa. I felt like I was getting sucker punched in a good way because I was just dizzy. Like I was dizzy. And that's the feeling you want to get. And then I realized, oh my God, I forgot about my own stupid life for a second. It truly transported me to this magical night in Puerto Vallarta. Now, there were other elements because we just came off this other amazingly strong episode last week that I don't think I was ever really, not yet I've been able to fully appreciate how good that episode is just because of the time in which I watched it. I can't wait to revisit that episode. But it was gnarly because you had Meredith, you know, obviously coming at Brittany Bateman so intensely. You're vile! You're recording me! You're vile! You're sick and disgusting! Like Meredith really went for it. And what makes this cast so damn brilliant is that they can go completely batshit insane and then flip it on a dime and have this beautiful scene about sisterhood. Angie Katzenavas and Mary Cosby at that table. Me sobbing. Angie Katzenavas saying, you changed my life, Mary. You changed my life. And then them going back and forth and I was tearing up, and Mary Cosby talking about how her dad left and never liked her. And I'm tearing up. But at the same time, the angel on my shoulder is tearing up and feeling the full range of human emotions and appreciating how we're all special snowflakes. The devil on my shoulder is going, how the fuck did Mary Cosby change Angie K's life? What? How? I need to see your phone, not just for a nasty text message. How? Just changed your life? Change your life? Like, I love their friendship. I truly love that Angie is the Mary Cosby whisperer and can communicate to, and they do. I love that friendship so much. But I was like, I didn't know it was like changed your life. And then it turned into like a rom-com. It was like Jerry Maguire. It was like, you had me at hello. You know, like, you make me want to be a better man. It was like all of these. Mary Cosby's like, I wanted to say I love you the other night, but I didn't want to be the first to say it. I'm like, what is going on? I felt like Bruce Springsteen was going to pop up like, you know, Secret garden. She takes you in her hand late at night. You know that song from Jerry Maguire? It's God, I'm using references from like decades ago, but it was like this. It was like a weirdly beautiful romantic scene, not sexually, but about friendship. And I was tearing up, but at the same time, I was like, what the fuck? Changed your life? And that's why, to bring it back to David Lynch, we have lost this great artist. But at the same time, I would like to think that David Lynch would have appreciated this show, would have appreciated. And I think it's a cut above other reality TV shows if you lean into the bizarreness. If you don't, I mean, we're going to question tons of things, but when you're watching it, don't question. Just go on that ride. This is like a Shep ayahuasca journey. This is Tom Sandoval on mushrooms. This is Tom Sandoval on the Traders. I'm just sweating through his pits, pit staining everywhere, but it doesn't matter because you're enjoying life. That's how you got to treat this show. And we watched it the first time, and I was like, holy shit. And then Rebecca was like, let's watch it again. I was like, okay, yeah, Christmas can come twice a year. And then the second time I watched it, I started seeing some like flaws, and I started having some questions, and I started having like the disappointment of, wait a sec, it just ends there? It ends there, and then the reunion? Like, what about the next day? I want to see the next day. I want to see him wake up and be like, oh, what's Lisa Barlow doing at the villa right now? They all go into each other's villas. How did the rest of the night end up? Why do I need to see a documentary making behind the scenes of this episode to actually see what happened afterwards? And I know we have the reunion, but we're like, what? No, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. And there was more. So Peacock released a extended, uncensored version instead of 43 minutes, which is the normal time a Bravo show. Normal time a Bravo show airs. There's like usually 17 minutes commercials. I do want to point out the ridiculousness of a 43-minute show that I will make a 3-hour recap out of, but let's not question it. But they added 17 more minutes. And it was going to be the next day on Peacock. So the next day, I go and watch this show again, right? But extended version. And I will say, it does make you appreciate the art of editing. It makes you show how much work goes into it and how things can like take the air out of a scene or keep the tension building or cut at the right laugh line. And so some of these things were obvious cuts where I was like, yeah, of course you would cut that. Of course. Now we're going to do the extended version today. Yeah, because there are still some good things with Meredith, but just even in the ridiculousness of leaving out Lisa Barlow's text about Meredith, what she wrote, that was not in the actual cut. It's in the Peacock cut. And once again, I can understand why they decided to cut it, even though there is still a little something wonky. They cut out a lot of Meredith scenes, I noticed. And I don't know exactly why, because I think Meredith came on so strong at the end. So it does make me so curious. I like this show so much, and especially this season, that it almost makes me want, like, I'm not a big person that goes on Reddit. I don't really... I'm not a detective, nor do I want to be. I want to be able to laugh at these shows, like I want to, all that stuff. But it does make me want to know how, how are these people making their money? Like, I want to see Lisa Barlow's finances. I want to see Whitney's finances. I want to see Heather Gay's finances. It makes me now curious. And I mean that as a compliment, because I'm like, what is actually going on? There is a mystery. There is a grittiness. There is not an evil, but there is dark forces lurking underneath every element of this show. And that's another reason why it works, because it presents itself based and steeped in religion. Now, I know you're like, Ryan, you're crazy pants right now. Crazy pants. But yeah, it is crazy pants. But it's a compliment to this show. They have got a magical cast right now. I am begging that none of this cast decides to leave. I think without a doubt, I don't even think I have to ask Bravo. I think every one of these, including Brittany Bateman, is asked back, if not already. And I have a sneaking suspicion that they have already started filming this next season. And by the way, that might just be a wish that my heart has made. But I think that they are raring to go. They are, I mean, you just like when Michael Jordan was at his best, you know, you don't want to give him too much time out. You got to play these people. You got to put them on the court. Like these ladies are ready to go. I mean, and who would have thought? I just want to point out where we were last season when we found out Monica Garcia was not coming back. And yes, watching it upon a third time, I thought it was an excellent finale. Does it compare to the finale of season 4? Of course not. That was a magical moment that was worthy of an Emmy. And I'm not joking when I say that, because everything, not just the cast, the editing, the sound, everything came together in that episode. It was a brilliant episode of reality television. When they decided not to bring Monica back, it was I always had this, and it, not just me, most of us said, what a huge mistake. Because reality shows always are based on conflict resolution. So you're telling us we'll have all this conflict and we'll never get resolution. I don't need them to ever love Monica Garcia, but I have questions for Monica. I want to know more about what the F actually went down with Monica in Reality Von Tease. I want to see her have to defend herself. I want to see who actually listens to her. Remember, Mary Cosby was close, or at least was being open to Monica Garcia. So when she wasn't coming back, it was this huge letdown. But my first thought was negative, was, wow, what a dumb move. They have really blown it. And this next season is going to suck. It's going to suck. Because you can't have, because the rumor was that a couple of cast members said, I will not film if Monica Garcia comes back. Whether that is true or not, I don't know, but that was the rumor. And I said, you can't have people dictating. You can't have people dictating. You can't have people that are bigger than the show. That's where Bethany Frankel lost me. That's where certain cast members of these shows, when they get too big, where they're able to dictate. Kyle Richards, walks this fine line because she's been there the longest on Beverly Hills. She doesn't dictate, but you can tell when something perturbs her. But that was my worry. And my God, am I so pleased to say I am wrong yet again, because they came back even stronger. A brilliant casting with Bronwyn. Brilliant. And there is so much yet to discover about Bronwyn. Good and bad. Like I said, it's the dichotomy. It's the yin yang. You're going to love somebody one season. You might dislike them the next. That's the beauty of this. And that's the beauty of this cast, because I can see that turnover in terms of our feelings. I can see that. But I will say, for this cast, even though I have strong opinions on them, especially Heather Gay, I do love each and every one of them. Even Heather Gay, I appreciate, they did something that I think in reality television, as we get further and further into the history of reality television, I think they made something really special here. I think they made something special. Or maybe I'm just really lost it. I've completely lost my mind. But it was a delightful season, full of ups and downs and weirdness and things that I can't explain and things that I can and things that I speculate about. So it's one of those things that really ignites my imagination. It's light bulbs pop off on top of just being hysterically funny. I always gave this compliment to the ladies of Potomac, where I just thought, man, just the banter, the back and forth, like the way that they bam, 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 bam. And everybody was... There was a certain season of Potomac where I was like, God, everybody on this cast is funny in their reads, in the way they're mean to each other. And I will say it's different than Potomac like that, but there is such a sense of humor and play about each one of these ladies. One's a physical comedian, one's a straight comedian, one's a prop comedian. There's different, and it all just works. It would break my heart if we had any different cast. I mean, I think we'll have additions. Hey, by the way, I'm Maylee. Remember me? I popped up in a couple episodes. I'm nowhere to be found anymore. It's me, Maylee. Remember? She was the lady that was in a handful of episodes. It was Whitney's friend. I love that there's usually in certain Housewives franchises, there's one character that just mysteriously dies. I think she's okay. But you're just assuming did somebody... as Lisa Barlow would say, what happened? What happened? What happened, May? What happened? We salute you, Maylee. We speak your name. Actually, I heard she might have some real troubling view. I don't know. Who knows, folks? We're here to have fun. Okay, so that's my opener, and this is going to be long, but I just want to talk about this. I just want to rant about this shit and go through this point by point. Now, there's been some news in the old Salt Lake this week, and it involves one of our old cast members, Jennifer Shaw. Jen Shaw. So this week, 2 days ago, it was announced that Jen Shaw's prison sentence has been reduced again. I believe this is the third time her prison sentence has been reduced. She is now scheduled to be released on November 3rd, 2026. Mark your calendars. So she was previously, her sentence was reduced last year from August 30th, 2028 to December 19th, 2027. And now it is down to 2026. I'm not good at the old math, but is that like a 5-year reduction? It's a 5-year. No, I think it's like close to 2 years. That's a lot of reduction. That's a lot. And my first thought, this might not be a nice thought, but my first thought is somebody in the prison system fucking loves Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Somebody in the prison system is literally like, girl, we're going to try to get you out of here as quickly as possible because we need to see you back on that screen. Like, they're literally producing in their head. Like, hey, Jen, could you be a little nicer to the inmates so we can reduce your sentence again? We want to get it. We want to get you back on by season 6. Well, actually, no, sorry, season 7. We want to get you back on by season 7. I personally do not want to see Jen Shaw come back to this show, but my producer brain obviously says, well, it's gonna happen. We just have to come to terms with that. But I want conditions. I want that we also have to have Monica, because Monica had a very deep relationship with Jen Shaw, which is allegedly how the reality Von Tease started, because Monica and a couple of other people felt so slighted by Jen Shaw. But I just love the thought that somebody in the prison system going, you know what? I want Jen back on our screen, especially after this season. And you know what? I want to see Jen come for Heather. You know what? Heather's britches might have gotten too big, as Mary Cosby inferred in one of the final scenes in this episode. Maybe we should let Jen get released a little. Like, I thought it was going to be literally the Shawshank redemption, and she was going to dig herself out like through a mile of shit and like just pop up in the season finale. But they're going to keep. I mean, like, can they? I got to ask the Bravo docket or Emily D. Baker or something. Can they reduce this sentence enough in time for like season 6? There's no way, right? But my God, she will be back on the screen. And then the other idea I had, this is how loony I've been this week, was then I said, if they don't let her back on Salt Lake, and I shouldn't be giving Jen and her team any free ideas, but this is good. You know how Shaws of Sunset is potentially coming back to Bravo with Mercedes and Reza? What if we fucking put Jen Shaw on the Shaws of Sunset, and it works because Jen Shaw's last name is Shaw, and then it's like the Shaws of Sunset, and you have Mercedes and Reza, but then you have Jen Shaw, which then that makes, like, I think that's brilliant. I mean, I don't want Jen Shaw in Los Angeles. Let me be very clear about this, but not a bad idea. Kind of, okay. I'll see myself out. Okay, thank you. Oh my God, I just got myself so excited that I gave myself a bloody nose. Here, sorry, sorry, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm sorry to have just shown you my bloody Kleenex. But that's how excited I am about this Real Housewives of Salt Lake City finale. I'm willing to bleed for it. This is episode 16. You know what? Beverly Hills is probably going to get like a 22 episode season, and we get 16 with Salt Lake City, but that's fine. Every episode was a banger in my book. This is entitled When All Is Said and Done, Uncensored and Extended. And the description that Peacock gives us says, on their final day in Mexico, the ladies surprise Lisa with a Lisa-themed lunch. Man, that character, whoever wrote that description really checked out, really was like, I just want to go home. Yeah, Lisa-themed lunch, and then just stopped watching the episode. So much happened in this episode. Come on. Are you kidding me? So we start off, as we always do, No, we don't start off as we always do because we usually start off with clips from previous episodes. Instead, we start off where we began the season, where we see they're in a studio, obviously, with stage lighting, overhead microphone where they film their talking heads. We have the overhead light. We hear production say, "We're rolling." And right at that moment, I feel the goose pimples pop up. I'm feeling them right now. You're magical. You're realizing you're watching something being filmed. And it says rolling. And Heather Gay walks up to the chair. And on top, she is like doing the wardrobe version of a mullet. She's business on top, party on the bottom. And by top, she's wearing like this pink frilly number. And in the bottom, she's wearing like weird camouflage leggings. Like, come on, girl. Like, I get it. By the way, I'm nude from the waist down, but that's because I'm a professional podcaster. I'm not fully on film. I mean, the top part is. But Heather, I didn't know if she knew this was going to be a long shot or not, but it's party on the bottom with these camo leggings. And all of a sudden, we hear the Heather Gay, obviously written intro. It's true that we chose to do this, and we see other ladies in front of the talking head green screen area of their houses. So we see Whitney, but the voiceover of Heather still keeps going, putting our lives out on display. Showing our weakest moments. We see Meredith in that same position, looking down at her phone. Sharing our darkest secrets, Heather continues. We see Lisa Barlow in the same talking head, getting done up by glam. Heather Gay says, leaving ourselves open to criticism. We see Angie Katsunavis sitting down in front of the green screen. Her voiceover continues, open to judgment, and those opinions can hurt. And we see Mary Cosby getting glam. We see Bronwyn in front of the green screen, and Heather's voiceover continues, open to judgment, and those opinions can hurt. But what happens when the friends you turn to for support? And we see clips up behind the green screen, like Heather Gay is staring at the camera, and we see clips from this season. Meredith Marks at her bat mitzvah, security! Security! And Heather Gay's voiceover continues, have turned on you too. We hear Bronwyn on the green screen. You made a comment about Lisa's parenting. And Lisa Barlow going, she's talking about my parenting? That's a fucking low blow. And then we have Meredith sitting in front of the green screen with Meredith hulking out in last week's Sprinter van. You record your friends, Brittany. You're vile. You know, with the iconic Missy Misdemeanor Elliott angle. You record your friends. You're a liar. And then we have in the green screen, Mary Cosby sitting in front of it. And Mary Cosby in the background is telling Heather that you leave a trail of lies, Heather. Heather's voiceover continues, and you realize that your closest friends. And we go to Bronwyn on the boat going, I've been called Two-Face, a trophy wife, a gold digger. This is bullshit. And we see Whitney in front of the green screen. Heather in Milwaukee at the beer plant that they were at, where Heather warns Whitney, people are talking about your business. And then we see in that one scene earlier at Angie Katsunavis and Sean's engagement party, where Whitney's like, Lisa, you can't take it. And then Lisa Barlow explodes, I didn't do it to you. And Heather Gay, once again staring at the camera with the voiceover, can cut you the deepest. Cut you the deepest. And we show them cheersing to the last nights in Puerto Vallarta. Cheers, cheers, cheers. And we see clips of what we eventually see at the dinner party of them fighting, of them crying, the range of human emotions. And then we pick up, which I can only imagine is the night after the final scene in this. We have a camera crew entering the villa and the producer saying to Heather Gay, is there really any way back at this point? A producer's asking Heather Gay. And you see all of the ladies in their room, in their villa. just like looking like they have gone through hell. Bronwyn's crying. Mary looks like she possibly doesn't know where she's at. Everything. And then it opens on Lisa Barlow getting glam, going, I don't know. I really don't know. Which I assume is the morning after. But that's what kills me, is that means there would be footage from the morning after, which then puts that question in my head of, did they truly mean this for this to be the finale? Did they truly mean for this to be the finale? And I will bring this up one last time for this season. We then see the picture of all the ladies together holding the snowflake. We have Heather Gay, Meredith Marks, Lisa Barlow, Angie Katzenavas in the middle. Mary Cosby, Bronwyn Newport, and Whitney Rose. Brittany Bateman was not a full-time housewife. People are asking me why she didn't get a little descriptor at the end saying like, Brittany's doing the dirty with Jared and having a good time singing on Broadway. Like, we didn't get a thing because she's not a full-time housewife. She better be a full-time housewife next season. I'll tell you that. But this picture is so like, not AI, but it's so, this picture of Heather Gay is literally from 3 seasons ago. And what kills me is that there is a brand new cast photo that they've had from the beginning of the season where Heather Gay is in the middle and all of the ladies look beautiful, but why are we using this? And we've used this all season long. This is the mysteries of Salt Lake for me. It's mystery after mystery. Okay. All of a sudden, we see a script pop up on screen 24 hours earlier. 24 hours earlier. So that confirms what we just saw was the next day. Release the tapes, Andrew Cohen. Release the tapes. We need it all. We pop up. Hey, Puerto Vallarta, day 4. Fun, chill music. Dun, 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 dun. We see the Mexico flag flying. We are Vedanta world. That's where these beautiful villas are. And this is where you start to see kind of clips that weren't put in the Bravo edit, just the Peacock edit. We see Brittany enjoying breakfast on the patio. We see Angie pouring some OJ. And I'm like, yeah, I could see how we could have lost that. We didn't necessarily need those shots, right? And then we see it. We see Meredith Marks. Meredith Marks, and she has this furry Gucci eye mask, but it's only covering one of the eyes, like she's Slick Rick of Salt Lake. And she's staring down at what looks like an egg white omelet. And she looks contemplative. Something's wrong. She almost looks like she's in a catatonic state, right? The music fades, the chill music fades, and all of a sudden we hear Heather go, good morning. And Mary's like, good morning, how are you? How are you? And she's like, I'm pretty good. I slept in pretty late today. I guess you did too. And Mary's like, yeah, I know. I woke up like, 4 in the morning with a scratched cornea. And Heather's like, with a scratched cornea? Oh my God, Meredith, is that what this is? What you're doing with your face here? And she goes, yeah. She goes, yeah. Oh, you noticed my little cover. Yes. Okay, of course. Yes. I didn't think this was going to be noticeable that I was wearing a Gucci fur thing over just one of my eyes and it was just crooked. Yes. By the way, somebody did say my Meredith does sound like Bill Murray from Caddyshack, and you're damn right it does. Yes. 100%. I agree. There's a little something slurry about Meredith, but I just enjoy doing it that way. This is not how I don't think really Meredith sounds, but to me. Also, I forgot to say this earlier. If you are a housewife, especially if you are a Salt Lake City housewife, stop listening. Stop listening or watching. Don't. You're eventually going to get your feelings hurt, and I'm not meaning to. I truly do love each and every one of you ladies. This is such a joy. If you are listening, you did such a great job this season. Thank you so much for all the entertainment. Please stop listening. Okay? Are we good? We're in agreement? It's just us. We're going to have a good time. I just don't let us have this our little private space, right? Okay? But I love you and I can't wait for season 6. And I can't wait for the reunion. You guys have all done a great job. Okay. Back to this. Meredith Marks fucking scratched her cornea? What the fuck? And on top of, how did we not have an editor troll of fucking Heather Gay's black eye that she probably got from Jen Shaw, but she changed her story 3 or 4 times? And that happened towards the season finale of season 3. How did we not get, what is going on with these Salt Lake City housewives and eye damage? Like, now I'm like, maybe it wasn't Jen Shah. Maybe it's Heather. Maybe Heather hurt her own eye and Heather scratched Meredith's cornea in the middle of the night. Or maybe there is some sort of David Lynch kind of ghost that is haunting all of these ladies. How do you even scratch a cornea? Well, I'll tell you how I didn't. I was not throwing up. I'll tell you that much. I was not throwing up and crying. You can't scratch a cornea that way. And if Brittany says anything about it, it's bullshit. It's just a normal scratch cornea. And that's why I'm wearing this eye mask. And I don't want to talk anything more about it. Okay? All right. So Heather, this was an additional scene or additional dialogue that we didn't get to see in Bravo. And Heather goes, oh, that sort of pirate patch? And then Heather in a talking head says, when I wore an eye patch, I was going for a Greek evil eye theme. Meredith is going for a pirate from Bergdorf Goodman. And we just see another shot of Meredith just looking like she's been through it, folks. And Rebecca told me this. I'm not good at like fashion or like makeup or anything like that, no matter what you've heard. Meredith's eyes looks really pink. And Rebecca said, you got to be really careful with lash serum because it'll give you red eye like that. She said lash serum is something that makes your lashes grow and potentially that she thinks Meredith might use lash serum too much. And that's why her eye is so red. Or maybe I'm just watching this show too intensely. Either one of those could be true. Two things can be true at once. Heather goes, we're already off to a great start in a talking head. And Meredith's just kind of staring at Heather. And this was a scene cut from Peacock where Rudy, the butler, comes out. And Heather's like, hey, Rudy, how are you? And, brings out Meredith's cappuccino. And Rudy's like, Miss Heather, would you like some coffee as well? And then Heather goes, I would love a little cappu. Let's just say cappuccino. Let's grow the fuck up. It's cappuccino, like a cappu. Let's not be the let's not show I'm the person that says cappu. Now everybody's going to say cappu. Tomorrow, you guys, when you're getting coffee, say, I'd like a little cappu. But these are the scenes where I started watching the unextended cut and I was like, okay, yeah. Okay, so far I get why these were cut. I was like, yeah, you could lose that. You could totally lose cappu. I'm good with it. Like, I don't need to see Rudy go get Heather a cappu. Anyways, Rudy leaves and Heather goes, how are you feeling? And Meredith sighs. Heather goes, I don't think you've ever yelled and screamed at me before. Meredith, like she's two speeds. She's like, you can leave. Or she's very quiet, Meredith. It's very quiet. She goes, I don't feel, Heather, that I am heard. Unless I lose my temper and start screaming. And we flash back to the night before where they're all in Meredith's room where Heather's trying to do the comedy bit about looking for the recording device. And Heather's like, why are you screaming at me? And Meredith's like, because I don't know who's starting more rumors about me. And Heather's like, well, it's certainly not me. We're doing an audio test. And Meredith's like, no, I'm not interested in it. I'm disengaging. I'm going to bed. I've had enough. Back in this scene, Heather goes, Meredith, we are friends. You don't have to yell at me. And she goes, I should not have yelled at you. Heather goes, and derail my whole nighttime activity. And derail my whole Carrot Top bit about looking for your recording device. Meredith goes, I agree. That's why I led with an apology and explanation of my behavior this morning. Quirky music. Dun, 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 dun. Tight shot of Meredith's face. Pink eye. And Heather goes, well, I accept your apology. And Meredith just does not move. Just her lips goes, thank you. Thank you. Silence. Meredith has a sip of her cappu, puts it down. All of a sudden, bird squawking. We see some palm trees floating in the wind. We see the villa. We see four boxes. Blink, 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 blink. And we see all of the ladies. We see Brittany in bed with her phone getting a text. And it's from Heather, 10:55 a.m. Hi, guys. I booked 2 fun activities, but first our tribute to Lisa lunch. Let's all meet in my suite to surprise her. Lisa is going to die, LOL. We see Mary get this text. We see Bronwyn get this text. We see Whitney get this text. We see Angie get this text. Bronwyn smiles like, okay, yes. So this is a good thing, right? All of a sudden, this is a scene or like little bits and pieces that got cut out of the Bravo version. We see Heather coming out of her room in a dark wig on her phone with sunglasses on, smiling. And this is the whole bit, folks, is that Heather has come up with the idea of having each one of these ladies dress like Lisa Barlow as a way to thank her. And so Meredith comes up and she's dressed like Lisa and says to Heather, "Hello, Miss Barlow." And Heather goes, "Hello, Miss Barlow. Hello, Lisa. You look fabulous." Heather says, Lisa put together such an amazing trip, but I really wanted to have like a theme lunch to thank her. But I know that Lisa hates themes. But I knew there would be one theme that Lisa would love. And we see Brittany come out in her Lisa wig. We see Angie and Mary Cosby even. And Mary Cosby comes out with like what she thinks Lisa Barlow's face with like a, "Hi." It's so, Mary's just won my heart. Anyways, we see Bronwyn come out. Bronwyn probably is actually wearing like real hair wig. I don't know. Anyways, some people are like, "Oh, I look like a low budget chair." Whitney comes out. And everybody thinks that Whitney's the winner. And all of a sudden, Lisa Barlow walks down this hall to turn the corner. She hasn't seen the ladies. And Lisa's like, "Hey, where are you guys?" And she turns around the corner, you guys. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm like the last one here." And then she stops cold. What am I seeing? What is happening? What am I seeing? And she like looks and then she realizes, oh my God, these ladies look amazing. Oh my God, you know who else looks amazing? Me. And you could see this all happening in her brain. Oh my God, these ladies all look amazing, but they also look like I'm amazing. Oh my God, they're all dressed like me, Lisa Barlow. And she's like, you can just tell it really like it warms your heart. You can tell how much she loves this. Meredith in a talking head goes, "In the 10 years that I've known Lisa, I don't think I've ever seen her speechless until now." And everybody's like, "Hi, baby gorgeous." And Lisa's like, "You guys look so cute. Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh my God." In a talking head, Lisa goes, "Honestly, these girls have never looked better." And even Whitney, she compliments. She goes, "I think you should be a brunette." She continues in her talking head. And even though Whitney's wearing 3-year-old Tom Ford pants, she still looks good. So she got a little dig in at Whitney, but it was also funny. Also, that 3-year-old Tom Ford pants. You guys with style out there, do you like, is that like, do you guys just know this shit? Like, do you know when something's like I still have Old Navy shit from like 15 years ago, but I don't think I'd be like, "Oh, that's Old Navy from 14 years ago." Like, I don't think I've got it like that. But like, do most girls have it like that where they know like that's 3-year-old Tom Fords? Anyways, they're all going out to lunch and it's just a real positive vibe right now because they all look like Lisa. And I think Bronwyn says something to Mary Cosby but calls her Lisa. And Mary's like, "Don't call me Lisa." And Bronwyn's like, You're wearing a Lisa wig. You're marrying a Lisa wig." And then Lisa goes, "This is like the best thing that ever happened." Upbeat music. Dun, 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 dun. Da, 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 da. They're walking up to the restaurant. Lisa is having the time of her life. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And they walk up to the lady at the hostess stand. And it's like, "Do you have a reservation?" And Lisa's like, "I do. I have a reservation for 8 Lisas." And this poor hostess, there's like just a quick comedic shot of her going like, "Huh? Like I don't get paid enough for this?" And all the ladies behind her go, "8 Lisas." So it's daytime. We see the ocean. We see the sand. They'll all be serving mimosas. They cheers to Lisa. So it's a real positive energy. And Lisa's like, "The only theme I love. This is great. Tin Roof Rusted." A waiter comes up to take their food order, and this is another scene that Bravo put in their extended. I'm going to skip past this because, I don't know if we necessarily need to hear the specials. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I was kind of like, well, we didn't really need to hear that they ordered lobster. I'm I'm good with having this left out. Like, come on, you got to have more stuff than this. And I will say, last week I did say the thing of I could just watch these ladies exit and enter sprinter vans, and I would be happy. And it turns out I was wrong. I maybe don't need the extra footage. I hate to say that. So they do this extended bit where they're ordering food from the waiter, and everybody's like, do you love that? I love that. Oh my God, I love that. And it goes on a little bit too long. And then Heather's like, okay, thank you for all being a part of our Lisa tribute band, and to thank you for this amazing trip. We've decided to all go around and do an impersonation of you. This Heather Gay, like, I swear to God, between this and Heather Gay's suggestion about the text at the end of this episode, this lady, she's demented. She's dark. I mean, you gotta love the darkness and the light within Heather, because she's messy. She's messy as hell, and she presents as the reliable narrator, but she's the messiest one here in terms of she knows what will create chaos. This is another one of these. And I almost think like Heather in the back of her head of like, I'm going to make the finale right here at this lunch. We're not going to even have to wait around for dinner, because I'll end it right now. I'm going to have everybody do impersonations of Lisa, because there will be one person, and obviously the person is Whitney in both instances, that completely, like, Lisa doesn't have a sense of humor for. Like, she's like, oh my God, I love it. So I was like, I don't think you're going to love it. I have a feeling you're not going to love something. So they're like, who's up first? And they're like, Meredith, do you want to start? And Meredith gets up and goes, okay, I have my Diet Coke. I need easy ice. And then we see Brittany, and Brittany just kind of like brushes her wigs and says, hi, everybody, I'm Lisa Barlow. I have the perfect body. And Mary Cosby's face goes, zoinks. Which, by the way, what an impersonation. The impersonation is like, I have a perfect body. Lisa's like, I do love this game. Like, it's like if somebody of like, I'm Ryan. It looks like he has a huge dong in gray sweatpants like John Hamm. What a hog. And I'd be like, oh my God, what a great imitation. Oh my God, is that how I come off? That's amazing. But Brittany continues, I have the perfect family and I have the perfect life. Oh. And I would never be mistreated by anyone, even for 1 second, because just because they're nice doesn't mean they're good. And Lisa goes, exactly. And then Heather gets up and does hers and says, I have glam in Saint-Tropez. I have glam in Monaco. I have glam everywhere I go. And Lisa giggles, ha 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 ha. And then Bronwyn steps up and she uses her phone as a prop, and she's like taking selfies. And she goes, oh, sorry, you caught me catching my 200th selfie of the day. And Lisa giggles. I have my Tom Ford and my Bottega. It's very exclusive. I got it off the runway. I know you didn't go, but I did. And then Mary gets up and does hers, goes, I love it. Like, is that what I have? That same thing. Oh my God. And everybody's laughing. Everybody's giggling. Lisa Barlow is giggling. And Angie gets up, and Angie, by the way, I do want to point out, she looks like she's auditioning for the sequel to Madam Web. She truly looks like a Spider-Man villain. And hers is like, I love that. I could have had a Range Rover, but I got a G-Wagon instead. And Heather goes, ha 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 ha. And then Whitney gets up, and she's like, and I just love my $60,000 rings. I have like 20 of them. And Lisa Barlow at this point is laughing like, ha, 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 ha. And then Whitney turns around and you see there's a tag on the back of her shirt. And Lisa's like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh my God, your tag is showing, Whitney. And then Whitney turns around and goes, oh, I know. It's because I have to return it after the trip. Boom. You know that bomb sound that Christopher Nolan put in Oppenheimer? Which, by the way, as I will say, Oppenheimer, the movie, brilliant, obviously. And this is how melted my brain is. I started to call that movie Oppenheim because of the Oppenheim brothers from Selling Sunset. And sometimes it's hard to decipher. So I'm like, you know that Nolan movie, Oppenheim? Yeah, no, Oppenheimer. But it's like that bomb sound. Boom. And then Lisa goes, okay, that's not me. Everybody's silent zoinks faces. And Lisa is doing a selfie on her phone as she's walking back. And Whitney in a talking head goes, I would rather die than be Lisa for a day. But since Lisa has been treating me like shit and been horrible to me. And we flash back to everything kind of this season of them getting into it every episode. Like Lisa Barlow saying, you're a fucking lying bitch, Whitney. we see her in the Sprinter van going, "That's your trash mouth. That's why I call you trash." In the talking head, Whitney says, "I'm going to lean into it, and I'm just going to be the fakest, phoniest, cattiest, materialistic bitch I can be." Lisa goes, "Okay, I was like all about Whitney until I saw the tags hanging out." And Whitney's like, "Well, I think the tag thing was actually absolutely appropriate because it's been rumored for years." And Lisa's like, "Rumored for what? Rumor for what? That you wear your clothes and return them." "I would never. You can go in my closet. Every single thing is still in there. And I don't need to return anything. They're busting out. I have like 2 full closets. That's why we sent our son away, so we could use his room as a spillover Lisa Barlow costume closet." Oh my God, you guys. But when people offer things like that, if I was a producer, I would make a mental note of like, yeah, let's get some cameras in Lisa's closet ASAP. Let's make sure this is all true. Like, no, but what's so brilliant is that it's bizarre, but then they take the bait each time and you can tell it stings. You can tell it's like when Doute pointed out Kyle's vein forehead bulging on this past week's episode, you could tell it stung. Like that tag thing stung. And coming from Whitney, if it came from another one of these ladies, I personally think she potentially would have laughed it off. But it came from Whitney. And Lisa goes, "But what are you implying? What are you implying? That maybe that you're a little bit more fake than you come off?" And then Lisa goes, I'm fake. And she leans forward laughing and Whitney just stares at her. And Whitney goes, "I think that you're very fake." Stillness. They can't teach this in film acting, just stillness. And then Whitney just comes out. She goes, "I think you're really bad at diving into connection, feelings, and understanding people. I think that you are in friendships that serve you. And when they no longer serve you, you move on." Holy crap. Just bam, bam, had this at the ready. And Lisa's like, "That is not even close to who I am. Did I tell you about my 2 closets?" And then when he goes, "And then you tend to make things about yourself." And Lisa goes, "You make everything about me. When you talk about my marriage, my family, my businesses." And Whitney's like, "You've done all these things to me, Lisa. I have never done those to you. Cite examples. I can cite examples. You brought information about my business to this group of women. Your information about your business was out there because of you. Had nothing to do with me." And then Lisa, iconic line, "Your gut is off. It's leaking. Take a probiotic. It's a mess." And when he's like, "No, it's not." "My gut is fine. I do take probiotics. It's all good in the hood in my guts." Take a probiotic. And we see a shot of Bronwyn laughing. That's how good these are. Is that the ladies even fucking go, this is like watching a television show. We're literally watching a television show on a television show. And then Lisa goes, "Take that fucking wig off your head. Don't be me because you'll never be me." "I don't want to be Lisa Barlow. I don't do what you do. I don't want to be a mean, nasty, horrible person." "No, you're a mean, nasty, horrible fucking liar." And at this moment, we see that they are in an outside patio and there's a dad with a little child and he is covering the ears of the little child. But at the same time, the dude looks titillated holy shit. This has got, what do we compare this to? This has got to be being at Woodstock or something just iconic that you're holy shit, I can't believe I'm watching this. This is amazing. So this guy obviously doesn't want her daughter to pick up this trash can language. But he's he's you can tell he's "Are you not entertained?" And then we see another group of 4 people watching and they're kind of trying not to smile. And then Lisa goes, "You will never sell as many companies as I have. You will never be as ethical as I am." And then Whitney goes, "Shut the fuck up and listen to me." And then Lisa lunges, "Fucking get that fucking wig off your head. Fucking get that wig. Oh my God." Lunges. I love that Lisa's you look like me and I don't want to look into the mirror because the amount of hate I have at you. You don't deserve this, leaky gut. What happened? It was wild. Oh my God, I think that was like truly this moment. That was the moment where I was just like, oh, like there is a higher power. I believe in magic. What a great activated scene. And Whitney, you've seen through the course of the seasons, even if you don't, like a lot of people have like really strong opinions about Whitney, but you have to, no matter what you think of Whitney, you have to say she has gotten comfortable standing up for herself. And that has not always been the case. And she's not like, you know, it seems like we always talk about this concept that everybody gives Lisa Barlow this power. Bronwyn gives it to her. Heather gets it to her. They all want her approval. Whitney is done. Whitney does not want Lisa Barlow's approval. I say this truly loving all of these women. Like, I really do. Like, I think Lisa is hysterical. But you've got it. Like, Whitney is standing strong. Or standing in her truth, whatever that means. I'm having trouble with my nose tonight, but we'll get through this. So we pick up, and Lisa's like, you lied about me. You've lied about my marriage. You have lied about everything I fucking care about. And Whitney just stares at her. And then Whitney goes, you've done the same thing to me. You plant things about my marriage, my business. And then Lisa's like, they're just talking over each other. Lisa's like, go prove it. Go get your proof. And then I'm going to sue the fuck out of you and take your fucking new house. Damn. Gonna fucking sue? We're suing now? We're Baldoni liveling? What? And Bronwyn tips her head like, ooh. What a beautiful lunch. Like, really, truly. In a talking head, Lisa goes, you're a fucking shitty person, Whitney. I try all the time to like forget to move on, but you make it impossible. She wants these awful things about me to be true so she can justify her sham of a life. Like you are a joke. And then Bronwyn all of a sudden pipes up and goes, Lisa, I haven't even known you that long and you've been like the most loyal person. Like to me, Whitney, that makes no sense. And Whitney stares at Brittany and goes, oh my God. And Mary goes, Brittany, I don't know why you're chiming in on anything, considering the fact that you recorded this whole group. Once everybody got like a little tipsy, they forgot about it. Oh, we're bringing back up the recordings. Let's get into the deleteds. Yeah, woo! Mary Cosby, don't forget, she's got the brain of an elephant. They remember a long time. And Brittany's like, are you serious? And Mary's like, I didn't forget. Yeah, I'm serious. And Brittany goes, I'm so pissed at everyone about that, actually. I am trying so hard. Yeah, I am trying. And Mary's like, why are you mad? And Mary's like, you're pissed at us that you recorded it? Yeah, you don't want to poke the Meredith bear. You're pissed at us? You're vile. And Meredith stands up and just gets into the camera angle like she's in a fucking sprinter van. You're pissed at us? You recorded us? And Brittany's like, no, I'm pissed at you guys because you all do the same exact thing as me, and especially you. And Mary's like, recording what? And Brittany's like, Mary was recording out the window. Why did no one rip Mary's head off? And Mary's like, you're a liar. Girl, shut up. Shut up. You got caught is what you got. In a talking head, Mary Cosby goes, don't come for me, because, sweetheart, you don't want to open this door, because I come out kicking. Guys, I truly believe that. I truly believe that Mary Cosby comes out kicking, even when it's just a regular door. Even when there's no, I just think she comes out kicking every door. Brittany in the scene goes, okay, well then I'll point it out when everybody does the exact same thing that I did. And Heather goes, no one secretly records each other, Brittany. That's a reach. Once again, I do want to point out probably every one of these ladies is recording with their phones at this moment. Like, I truly believe that each one of these ladies have secretly recorded in some fashion. I'll never be able to prove it, nor do I have the finances and the resources to prove that. So it's like a moot point, but I truly believe they all have shit on their phone. Bronwyn in a talking head says, dear God, I am not a crier and I am about to cry because I want all of the time I've watched Brittany crying back. Ugh. It is a waste of my life. Brittany says, you have all been torturing me, calling me vile and vicious and cruel. And Meredith goes, you know what? Those are my feelings. Which, by the way, I wish Meredith was wearing the Gucci eye thing again. Like, what happened to the scratch cornea? Anyways, we flash back to Meredith saying, you're vile, the whole freak out in the the Sprinter van. You record your van. You make character assassinations of people. You utterly disgust me. And especially when you do with that Jerry and Osby with your private parts where you're pumping uglies. Oh, it's disgusting. It's vile. Seth would never do that. That's right. I treat a woman like the lady that she is. I sometimes put a toe in a butt, but that's fine because we're married and we're both, I've been bar mitzvah, you've been bat mitzvah. That's what happens in adult relationships. It's me, Seth Marks. Anyways, back in the scene. Brittany goes, Meredith, I will never, ever recover from that. Do you understand? Meredith goes, I'm also entitled to my feelings. Brittany goes, no, you are, but, well, and I might not recover from things either. You've done to me, Brittany. And Brittany goes, we all have a social filter. I would never let those words come out of my mouth to someone. And then Meredith goes, no, you just accuse someone of mental health and eating disorders behind their backs. Brittany goes, no, I didn't. No, I did not. Don't talk to me. And she puts up there, I'm putting the hand up. I am not, talk to the hand. I'm not interested in you anymore. I've been told I cannot disengage, so you can talk to the hand. I will sit here and I will earn my paycheck, but you are talking to the hand at this moment. I'm not interested. Silence. Chewing. Brittany goes, that's really extra low. She stands up. Well, clearly I don't have any friends here. Heather goes, no, you have friends here. Brittany. And then Mary goes, no, just let her go. Just let her go. Let her go. Brittany goes, no, I'm so fucking sick of this. I can't do this. Tense music. Brittany walks away. Walks by the child with her ears cupped and the dad watching. Brittany rips off her Lisa wig. And Angie goes, I'm going to get up for a second. And starts walking towards Brittany. Brittany. And then other ladies walk up to go follow Brittany. And you hear Brittany on her cell phone go, call Jared. Lisa Barlow follows like, Brittany, I'm calling Jared. I'm so fucking sick of this. And Angie's like, I know. Put your phone down. We hear ringing. Mary back at the table talking to Meredith and the other ladies goes, I'm trying to figure out why Angie's over there. I don't like that. What? Meredith looks. Mary goes, leave that girl alone. In a talking head, Mary says, what is Angie doing? Why are you chasing the girl that does not like me? She just accused me of recording too. Don't run after people that don't like me. Don't do that. I kick through doors. So we see that Mary's really bothered that Angie went after Brittany. So Lisa talking to Brittany goes, it's hard to gather your thoughts and argue when you're feeling like you're attacked. Like we've all felt there. We've all felt horrible at times, you know? In a talking head, Lisa goes, I think there's only room for one Lisa Barlow, and a lunch full of Lisas is clearly not a great idea. Heather goes, hey, we have an appointment for ceviche. hey, though we're going to pivot real fast. We've got to go make some ceviche that we got to go immediately. And Bronwyn goes, yeah, I'm still hungry. So I guess there was two separate activities, horseback riding and ceviche making. And Angie was going to go horseback riding, but she wants to go make ceviche now. This was another cut thing. Brittany's not going to go horseback riding. Lisa is going to go horseback riding. So this was just, I love that the cut scenes from Bravo that had it on Peacock were just logistics. Okay, where are you going to be at the horseback? Okay, but you'll be at the ceviche. Okay, you horse ceviche. Those are like some of the cut scenes. You're like, hell yeah, cut that shit out. Whitney goes, well, I got to go learn how to make ceviche. And then Meredith goes, have fun, bring some home. The way these ladies bounce back after tragedy. We need to bring all of the ladies of Salt Lake out to California to help us heal from these fires, to help us bounce back. You know, like we've got time. Let's do some cleanup. Let's start building. Let's do it. So we have fun music. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. And we see Lisa, Meredith, Bronwyn, and I think Mary walking up to the horses. And, you know, Lisa's like, hola, hola. And Lisa's like, which one of these horses is the feistiest? So we see all these ladies get up on horses. And I'm like, this is an insurance claim waiting to happen. Mary Cosby on a horse. And we've got an extended horseback riding scene in the extended cut. And Bronwyn's horse is like, nee! I'm scared that Bronwyn just got attacked by a dog a couple weeks ago. The horse, I was like, this is not good. And Bronwyn's like, the horse, he's really freaking out a lot already. Ha! Oh, Jesus Christ! Ah! And then Mary Cosby's horse is just doing circles. And, Mary's like, oh my God, what is he? I kick through doors. Do not do this. In a talking head, Mary says, I love horseback riding, but I just pray I don't fall off. Because if that horse goes down, you go down with it. You're not going to be the same. So what I believe that talking head is Mary Cosby threatening a horse. It's equine abuse. I love that Mary's like, you buck me, I take you down with me. You trying to get me to the afterlife? You're going there with me, horse. Like, my God, Mr. Ed is scared shitless of her. Then Mary Cosby, she goes, well, like arthritis sets in, like it's the bone heals weird. You have an automatic limp from here on out. I mean, you'll definitely be like a defect. So she's going into the specificity of how she's going to hurt this horse if it bucks her. Like, I will break some sort of leg. You will not be able to, it's wild. Meredith on her horse, there's like these GoPro cameras that are attached to the horse's neck that is shooting upwards. And Meredith's horse is like, and Meredith's like, what's going on here? This horse doesn't seem to want to go. Mary in a talking head says, and Meredith, you don't get on a horse and you can't hear. If your hearing is going, certain activities you don't do. It's just like, that's just life. Wait, quick clarification, just for like, I think deaf people can still totally ride horses. Like, I think Mary's wrong, but that was wild. And Bronwyn's on her horse. It's still like acting crazy. And Bronwyn's like, well, this was one way to get rid of me, guys. Jesus. And Meredith says, I feel like we got the horses that represent our personalities. And then all of a sudden it's like a mid shot, of the horse in the distance with Meredith on it. And all of a sudden you hear a toot, like, pfft. And I think it's supposed to be the horse farting, but is there a chance it's Meredith farting? Excuse me, that was vile. Oh, gee, woo! Clear the ocean, my God, woo! That was vile. Oh, the rumors. There's a rumor that I threw up, and there's a rumor that I had flatulence on this horse. It's just vile, I tell you. Okay, the other ladies, they're making Peruvian ceviche, and Heather and Angie are kind of making jokes about their chi-chis and Conchita. I don't know. You can tell Heather's like a couple drinks deep, and they're talking about chi-chis and chicharron, which Angie K thought meant tits, which is actually, I think she thinks is chi-chis, but she was like, chicharron. I don't know. They're talking about marinating the ceviche. And Heather kind of makes I don't know, it's just like the Heather, the over jokey thing that Heather does that probably works in certain social circles, but I don't think it plays well in the 5th season. Anyways, back to the horses. Lisa Barlow is like, muy bonita. The ocean is muy bonita. And they all think it's so beautiful on the ocean. And then Lisa's like, do you want to go out and put your feet in the water? And Mary's like, yeah, that sounds great. So all 4 of the ladies, their feet are in the ocean, including Mary Cosby. What if Mary Cosby literally walked on water just like Jesus? Like, what if this was the moment they realized Mary was one of the chosen one? We're like, Mary! She's like, I told you! Meredith goes, I wish I had a swimsuit on because it would make it easier for these frogs to escape. Anyways, they all are very refreshed with their feet in the water. And I'm like, well, this is weird. So I was like, when does the shit talking start? And then all of a sudden, Mary Cosby says to Bronwyn, I'm not dealing with Angie. And Lisa's like, what's going on? And Mary's like, Brittany, she comes at me different energy every time. She's always coming for me, like from day one. It's not confusing. I'm very clear on it. I am. And I feel like the fact that Angie went running out the restaurant crying, and then little Miss Thang, no, sorry, she said that Brittany runs out, little Miss Thang, and then Angie runs out after her. I'm done with her. I'm done with her. Lisa's like, why are you done with her? Are you confused by her? And Mary's like, no, because she pretty much took her side. Brittany doesn't like me. And Mary's like, did you tell Angie that? And Mary's like, yeah, I told her. Yes, I did. And Lisa goes, that makes the difference. That's a very big difference. I didn't know that. And Mary says, I'm really bothered by it. Like, pick a side. In a talking head, Mary says, I don't bond with people quickly, and I don't tell people my business. But when I do, I have to 100% trust you. And I feel somewhat type of betrayal. And when I feel betrayal, I will straight turn around and I will leave you. And I will unmemorize your existence. Unmemorize. Not memorize, unmemorizing. And if you're a horse, I will hurt you if you're a horse. But if you're Angie, I will unmemorize your existence. I'm able to do that because I've been through too much, Mary says. In the ocean, Mary says, I don't start anything, but I will finish it. I'm done with her. And by the way, they are in the water, which is fairly reminiscent of the end of season 4 when Heather Gay gathered all of the ladies to be like, I have found out who Reality Von Teese is. And, Meredith's like, no, are you kidding me? Oh, we cut to commercial. Ooh. Okay, we're back from break and they are, it's already nighttime on our last night here at Vedanta World Bond Luxury Theme Park. Shout out to Vedanta. Give me some free nights. Lisa, they're all getting into the little go-karts. And Lisa, there's this little moment where it's like, oh my gosh, it's a little damp. I don't know why that cracked me up of Lisa Barlow sitting in this little go-kart going, it's a little damp. So they're all being driven to this last night. They're in 2 separate go-karts. Being driven to this epic dinner. I will say Bronwyn is in the most interesting costume. It's like she is the queer representation of Big Bird. Like it looks like Big Bird's feathers, but in like the LGBTQ flag colors. I love the outfit. I could never pull it off. So they're just saying like, let's focus on our friendships. This is going to be wonderful. Even though this is the moment where they all know it's leading up to, because I do believe this whole final premise is fully set up, right? I don't think anybody will ever admit it, or maybe they're going to have to at some point. They get sat at the table. They added a bunch of extra scenes of literally the hostess greeting them and them walking up steps, which once again proves or disproves my thought of I could just watch them just walk. No, I'm good with it being tighter. So they all sit down and Angie is sitting across from Heather. Whitney is next to Angie. Meredith is next to Heather. Lisa is next to Meredith and Bronwyn is next to Mary. So it's like, 2 sides of the table. They're all ordering, drinks are being served. Like they left this in of everybody's like, I'll have a margarita pizza. I'll have a pepperoni pizza. And then Bronwyn's like, I think we do a little Mexico toast. Okay, so it's amor, salud, pesetes y tiempo para gastarlas. So love, health, wealth, and time in which to spend it all. She is like the Salt Lake version of Shep Rose from Southern Charm with a toast. And then Heather goes, to our last night in Puerto Vallarta. No, Heather, Bronwyn's doing the toast. Don't hop on her toast. That's Bronwyn's toast. So they all cheers. Everybody looks beautiful. All is peaceful. And then Angie goes, Meredith and I just made eye contact. So this scene was cut from the Bravo version. And Meredith goes, Angie and I, are on a positive trajectory. And everybody's like, for real? And Heather's like, well, that's kudos coming for Meredith. And Angie goes, I mean, it's still going on. It started at breakfast and it's dinner and it's still going on. We haven't had one disagreement yet. Yes. And Angie's like, all day. And then when he's like, do you consider her your friend now? And Mary goes, I think we can say friends. And then Angie's like, if we can get through the night. And this is where the editor should have put like mysterious, like haunting, scary music. Dun, dun, dun. Because nobody will get through the night. But also, this is how quick these ladies rebound of like, yes, in the last 8 hours, we have become close. It's kind of like a beaches, it's a very sisterhood traveling pants. It's just female friendships. We're very tight now. Yes. Meredith in her talking head says, friendship is a journey that takes time and trust to grow and build. However, you have to start somewhere. And I guess that's where me and Angie are now. So I'm cautiously optimistic we can start clean and see where it leads, And so everything is going nice. There are still multiple loves you. In a talking head, Angie says, look, I have wholeheartedly believed that Meredith was responsible for rumors about Sean. And while she has denied it, I have been carrying a grudge. But at this point, in order for us to move forward, I have to take her word for it. That's all I can do. Now, thankfully, there will be no more rumors about Sean, no more hinting about Sean. Nothing more about Sean comes up this entire episode. So we're good, right? I love that the waiter puts down a Caesar salad and Meredith goes, amazing. Amazing Caesar salad. I love it. Oh my gosh. I ordered a lot of stuff, I guess. It's like when the housewives see each other, they all like, oh my God, you look beautiful. You look beautiful. They do the same thing when they leave in what they get served. Oh my gosh, that looks beautiful. That looks amazing. I'm going to eat the shit out of that. Wow. And Meredith goes, if anybody wants tacos, I think I've got plenty to share. And then Heather's like, I would love your tacos, Meredith. That's an undercover pussy joke. And then Bronwyn, they leave this in. Oh, Mary, your avocado pizza looks good, Mary. And Mary, you can tell something's bothering her as she's chewing. And then Angie goes, Mary, do you want a piece of my pepperoni pizza? And Mary just kind of widens her eyes and doesn't say anything. Silence. 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 Mary's chewing viciously. And Angie goes, you're being very quiet with me, Mary. And Mary stares at Angie and goes, I know. What's going on, Angie says. Mary goes, what do you think is going on? Angie goes, tell me what I did. And Mary goes running out of the door like with Brittany and went out there and stayed with her. So you don't care what I feel with her? Angie said, I do care. And I've told you she's not. And you ran after her, Angie K? Pause. Angie says, I've spent months trying to gain your confidence. Mary goes, I didn't ask you to. That was a choice you made. Angie says, and you made a choice to be my friend. And you said God brought us together. And I believe that. And you believe that. Mary goes, I did believe it. But I can be wrong. I'm human. And Angie goes, you're wrong about what? I'm wrong about you. I'm wrong about you. That's what I'm wrong about. Wrong about you. It's amazing to watch this scene multiple times because this is how good this cast is that the cast is remaining eating. They're all chewing. They're just chewing. Just watching like I was watching the first night with like tortilla chips, just eating and watching, just entranced with this scene. That's how good it is. And she's like, are you serious? I love that. Angie's like, you said God brought us together. Well, he can be wrong. God can be wrong. God doesn't make any mistakes, I thought. But Angie's like, are you serious? And then Mary's like, yeah, I am. And he goes, Mary, I am. And then Heather even gets involved. Mary, really? Mary goes, I feel like I'm big on loyalty. And Angie goes, look at me. Mary, I'm so sorry. And Mary looks at her, and Angie goes, give me your hand. Mary goes, no, I'm not giving. I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you. And then Angie goes, Mary, I love you. You've given me all these, Mary, like you've changed my life. She shakes her head. Changed my life. Tender music is playing. Mary purses her lips. You can tell she's starting to crack. A sweet smile appears on Mary's face. They're both shaking their heads. Angie says again, you've changed my life. Mary looks down like a little schoolgirl. Everybody's watching this. Angie starts sobbing, puts her hand to her face, whimpering. And she goes, I see you differently, Mary, than everybody else sees you. Mary looking down, I've gotten to know you, Mary, in a different way, and I don't like that you're shutting me out like this. And then Mary now starting to tear up. Well, you hurt me, but I didn't mean to hurt you, Mary. Because I told you everything, Mary says. Angie goes, I know, and that's why you're hurting me right now. Mary dabs her eyes from the tears. They're just staring. Mary looks at Angie. Angie looks at Mary. And Mary says, it's just that, like, she's taking her time. And Mary says, because both of my parents abandoned me. My dad admitted it, that he didn't like me. And my mom, who was my best friend, she cut me off. And now I'm an adult with abandonment issues. And I don't like what people portray me. I don't do well with it. I'd rather walk away because I remember that feeling from 6 years old when my dad left. And he told my mom he didn't like me. Brittany's dabbing her tears now. And Mary says, because I spoke my mind. And Angie says, I'm not abandoning you. And this is why this is so sad for me, because I lost my mom too, Mary, and I have abandonment issues too, Mary. In a talking head, Mary says, when you have abandonment issues, I feel like you lead with that for the rest of your life. It's scarring. And then when you go through life, when people abandon you, it just brings that same feeling up. With my dad walking out the door and he never came back. She's crying in the talking head. And she says, sorry. And she says, and I think I will never forget it. He never came back. And then he didn't even care. He just went and lived his life. Back in this scene, or actually they do a shot of Mary back in the scene crying, and then they go back to the talking head, and she says, so I brace myself just in case. Guys, if you weren't starting to feel, if something wasn't stirring at this point, check yourself into a hospital, because I didn't necessarily go like Angie, like, you changed my life, Mary, but then this was so, how did Mary Cosby become the keeper of the flame? How did she become the emotional resonance of the entire season? How did that happen? And how is she the one that actually makes sense? And like, you can go, oh, I can now trace a direct line of how she acts to where she came from. Like, she knows exactly. She knows the wall she puts up. She knows that she comes out hard. She comes out swinging because she's going to hit you 2 times harder before you get the chance to hit her again. Like, all of it. It all makes sense. Angie says, I'm so sorry, Mary, that I made you feel that way. And I do love you. And I want to be your friend forever. And Mary says, I love you too. And then they get married. No, sorry to make a rude joke in the middle of actually something very powerful. Mary in a talking head says, I realize that Angie does have my back. Wouldn't it be great if Mary was like, but I do need you to prove it. I need you to kill Brittany. I need you to take her life. Blood in, blood out. Okay, Angie? No. It's beautiful. Mary says, I did find a friend in Angie, and Angie brought me sisterhood. Sometimes you can't be family with your real family, but when you find someone like Angie, it feels family. And I love her. I'm blessed to have a friend with Angie. I am. And back in the scene, Mary says, every time I hang up the phone with you, I'm like, I want to say I love her, but I don't say it because I'm not saying it yet. And everybody giggles and says, and Mary's like, I don't want to say it first. And everybody's laughing. I love that it's like, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. You hang up. No, you hang up. And by the way, if Mary truly wanted to cut Angie, she'd be like, feta cheese fucking sucks. Because I think that's Greek, right? Anyways, Lisa's like, oh my God, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. And Angie goes, I do love you, Mary. I mean it. I do. Somebody's going steady. No, it's so beautiful. Heather goes, Mary, I loved what you shared. I thought it was beautiful. And I love this friendship. And I know she's your friend, Mary. This was great. Who else wants to clear the air? Heather says. And then I'm like, okay. And then Meredith pipes up. Look, okay, I do have an issue and a concern, and I need some resolution here. So you accused Lisa, she's looking at Whitney, of planning a story with a blog about your jewelry company sourcing off of Alibaba. I'm like, oh my God, we're back to Alibaba. I forgot about Alibaba. Alibaba is back. The Prism Jewelry Alibaba. We're back to Alibaba. Oh my God. And Lisa laughed. You said that you had proof, and the person who supposedly gave you this proof contacted me and told me a very different story. Thunderclaps. Boom, boom, boom. In a talking head, Meredith goes, years ago, I met the podcaster that Whitney has been talking to. And over the years, we've seen each other a handful of times. Recently, he called me, and he told me Whitney had reached out to him, saying that she thought Lisa had planted the Alibaba rumor, and it was enlisting him to try to get proof. He told me that he has never given her proof, and that Whitney has twisted his words around to say that he gave her proof when he, in fact, did not. Okay. We'll get into this a little bit, right? And also, just on a personal level as a podcaster, can somebody tell me, like, are we bloggers or are we podcasters? I always call myself a podcaster, and you know, there's shame in that, sure. But should I be calling myself a blogger? Like, are we? But no, I'm not the guy that called Meredith. Obviously, it's Adam. It's Adam up and Adam Newell. I think we all know that. Adam's talked about that, I think, at this point. And I will say, Adam does have a story to tell. I messaged with Adam today, and after the reunions, I think Adam's going to be telling his side of this story. So stay tuned for that. But he is the guy that Whitney was talking to in the scene. You heard his voice earlier in the season. And according to Meredith, they talked as well. Now, what's interesting is that a couple BravoCons ago in New York at the Gansevoort at the top floor, the last night, like Adam, and his husband, Jason, who I really love, you know, we would wind up on the rooftop every night. And the last night was great. It was like the last night of BravoCon. It was just a marathon. So insane. So much drinking. So much excitement. It was crazy pants. And that last night, it was like Adam, his husband, Meredith Marks, was it Vicky Gunvalson, Sergio, Caroline, Cherie Whitfield, and they all ordered pizzas. And I was just like, Candace and her husband from Potomac. It was just a who's who. And it was so, I mean, you just felt like you in rarefied air. And it was, so I do know that like Meredith and Adam have a relationship, and I think Whitney and Adam have a relationship. And I will also say, because Adam has talked about this on his show or his clips and his TikTok, which you can find his podcast up in Adam Live, but he also has a huge YouTube channel, and he pushes out so much content, so many news stories, all of that stuff. Stuff that I could never do, nor do I have the constitution to do it. I don't want to be fighting with Freddie Mellencamp. I just want to make my little jokes and stuff, but like, my God, I don't want to be involved in a show like no, God. But he did mention, I think, on one of his TikToks today, where he brought up, I was at the Kathy Hilton holiday party, and the Salt Lake ladies were there, and Whitney was there, and I did talk to Whitney. I talked to all like Angie Katsunavis, by the way. I'm realizing now Angie Katsunavis is truly hysterical. And we got into a conversation, and it was weird. She revealed something to me, and I think it was kind of secret, so I feel weird telling it to you guys. But she did pull me aside, and she did mention, she was like, not a lot of people know this about me. Mary knows because we're super close. But she said, Ryan, I obviously trust you at this point because we had been talking for like 10 minutes. And she said, I'm Greek. Like, I'm full Greek. And I was like, what? No, no, no. And I was like, no, you're good. But I was like, you know what? But it's, I don't know. Anyways, not important right now. But I was talking to Whitney, and she's been on the podcast before, but I said this before, and I think I don't get to read all the YouTube comments for this show, and it's mainly a podcast show. That's where the majority of people get this. But somebody was like, you're so biased about Whitney. You're friends with her. And like, I'm friendly. Like, I like to be friendly with anybody. But if you notice, like, I've not been doing that good at Instagram lately just because I haven't really had a sense of humor. And it's been hard enough to do this. But I've never been in like DMs or like, even if I make a post about something, like even a nice post, I don't tag a housewife. I don't be like, look at me, look at like, I'm not trying to get them to follow me. Most of them don't. Like, I wouldn't want them to follow me because I'm going to say something snarky, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I just want to make my stupid jokes. But, Whitney, I guess I have a soft spot for, but also I just kind of want to figure out what is the truth? What is actually going on? That's how good this show is, that now I truly do want to know what is this truth? What is the truth of all of these ladies? But that night, I remember talking to her and just going, my God, you guys have had such a great season. Holy shit. And Adam was there. And then Whitney was like, oh my God, it's Adam. And like they started talking and they were getting into it. It was like they talked for a long time, and I think it got a little heated. I think Adam's talked about this, so I know I'm not revealing anything, and I'll let him tell all of that. And I'm sure Whitney has her side of the story, but I was like, holy shit. Like, and I was just so excited to see, like, Bronwyn was there. Mary Cosby was there. I was like a pig in shit. I was just so happy to be there. Like, that was the night of the James Kennedy thing. And like I said, I saw James Kennedy many times, but like James Kennedy, I was like, I wasn't even really paying attention because I was just so fucking entranced by these Salt Lake women. And it was just such a nice night. But they were like, you could tell they were both heated. So they both seem to really believe whatever each of their stories are. So it'll be interesting to have more of that come out. But Adam said he will be talking about it after the third part of the, because I said, oh, is there an episode that I can point this audience to of yours? Have you talked about it already? Because I don't keep up with everybody. And that's not a slam on it. I don't, I would rather listen to an audiobook because I talk about Bravo all the time. But he said, oh, I will be talking about it after the third part of the reunion. So there you go. It'll be up on his YouTube and I'm sure his podcast. So Whitney then says to Meredith, he said it's Lisa, and it was followed by a phone call that explained it. So he's saying that Adam said it was Lisa that planted these stories, and he also then called and explained more of it. And Lisa goes, yeah, that's not proof. Nuh-uh. I don't feed blogs. I don't talk to blogs. Blogs I thought are written. I love that that's my big takeaway. What is a blog? And Lisa's like, I don't talk to blogs. And when he's like, yeah, you do. I have a lot of proof of it. Prove it and show it right now. It's no secret you've had reality Von Tease, but I think like that. And Lisa's like, what did I feed reality Von Teese? You better be real clear right now. You would say, hey, this situation, I didn't say that. You're lying. I can bring up my phone right now and show you. You would send stuff about Jen sending this to this account. No, 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 that's not true. That is not true. And then Heather pipes in because Heather, man, you bring up reality Von Teese, it's like Heather with like 3 espresso martinis in Palm Springs. She's like peeing and farting and pooping herself. It's like, who told you this shit, Whitney? And then Whitney sipping her water going, I reached out to Monica. Thunderclap. Oh, Zoinks. What? Monica Garcia? What? Shots, reaction shots of each of these ladies. Dung, 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 dung. Cut to commercial. Woo! We come back from commercial and everybody still has their Zoinks faces on. Zoinks, 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 zoinks. And Mary's like, oh, she talks to Monica. Of course. She just said it. More reaction shots. Heather's mouth is just catching flies. Like, what? Our sworn enemy? In a talking head, Heather goes, after everything we have gone through to distance ourselves from her and her memory, there's no fucking way you did this. This is where it loses me in certain capacities because we had an actual fucking criminal, Jen Shah, who is in prison that literally Heather lived in her asshole, set up a studio apartment, and it's Monica that you reached out to our sworn enemy. Like fucking Meredith called, didn't Meredith say she talked to Jen in prison at some point? Like, isn't that our sworn enemy? I'm not saying Monica hasn't done certain criminal activities. I'm not saying she's not conniving. I'm not saying any of that, but I'm like, Jen Shah is right there. The person that actually went to jail for lying to all of you guys, for using you, for making you believe, for making you stand up for her in the press, made you all look like idiots because you bowed down to her and swore that nothing she did, that she was accused of was true. Meredith Marks, Heather Gay, Lisa Barlow. But Monica? Because she was had a nasty meme account. Do you know how many nasty meme accounts there are about Bravo? Like even me as I get older, I'm like, damn. Like I'll read something like, that to me, that's like dime a dozen. I'm not saying what Monica did was right, and she wasn't the only one involved in reality Von Teese. But it is wild when you compare it to Jen Shah. That's the part where it loses me, where I'm like, guys, and that's where I've read or I've listened to both of Heather Gay's books. And the first one I think was way better than the second one, but I think she, obviously is good. At the end of this, it says she's working on her third book. It is interesting how, in the second book, you can tell the stories are a little thinner. It's not as, I don't know. I thought the first one was actually really good in terms of Bravo Celebrities books. I did. I think it was good. The second one, and the Salt Lake stuff doesn't come up to the very end, and the reality Von Teese stuff is at the very last part of the book, the last chapter. And it's good. It reveals some things that I wasn't fully aware of or needed to be reminded of. And I will say, just from the standpoint that Monica did actually charge a bunch of shit at Beauty Lab and Laser and didn't pay and was using different names and different aliases. She was going through it. But I don't know. I feel like Heather is so weirdly blinded in her rage against Monica that she doesn't realize the other people that have actually done even more horrific things to her and hung her out to dry. And I feel like Jen Shah gets this weird pass. And two people can be bad at once. But it's this Monica, as Heather Gay talks or writes about in her book, was needed to make money, was broke, was completely broke. Her life was a mess. Heather weirdly takes Monica's mom's side in this, saying her mom, almost defending her mom when, guys, Monica may have her issues, but come on. Her mom was a wackadoodle, if not more so, and you could see maybe pass down some qualities. I remember back when I used to use Twitter on a daily basis, Monica's mom would post disgusting shit. Like that audio fight of them. Like it was horrific. And Monica definitely participated, but it is weird just the symbolism and how much they've put on Monica, where I still don't necessarily see the gravity of it, that they give it. They imbue it with these qualities like it's just this demon child, when I'm like, you guys didn't save the same energy for Jen Shah? Like literally lied to your face over and over again, hung you out to dry, on top of did massive fraud with older people. Like wild. Like, would Monica have eventually gotten there? Maybe she would have been a little Jen Shah in training, because Monica did work for Jen Shah. And that's how Reality Von Tease started, because Monica and the rest of the people that participated felt slighted by Jen Shah. And so they did secretly video her and audio tape her, which, yeah, gross, disgusting, but it doesn't take away from the fact that Jen seemed like a very unhinged person, not only on television, but it seemed worse outside of television. I'm not saying that Jen Shah is fully evil. Nobody is fully evil. Well, there are a couple people that are fully evil. But do you know what I'm saying? Am I just completely on my own with this? I don't know. So we're back in the scene. Heather goes, what level of desperation and paranoia led you to think that that was a good move? That would somehow strengthen your case to go to the one person that has the least credibility among any of us? When he goes, I reached out to her out of desperation because I was so sick of being called a liar. And Lisa's like, out of desperation. Okay. She said that she had proof that Lisa fed information to the press outlets. She told me how you would work with Reality Von Tease. That's a fucking lie. You make up shit. And Heather goes, oh my gosh, a snake has proof. Let's run and best friend her and fucking, you've all put me in a fucking corner. You put baby in a corner and I feel like I have to prove myself. And Heather's like, that's a betrayal to me. I didn't fucking corner you. And then Whitney points at Meredith and Lisa. These two cornered me. These two. And then Lisa goes, don't point your finger at me. And then Whitney, this is just the movement itself made me laugh. She extends her pointer finger. Point! And Lisa goes, turn your finger back in. Get your finger out of my fucking face. And then Whitney points again and then points with the other hand. Double point. I'm double pointing. I'm doubling down on pointy fingers. Point, 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 point. And then Heather goes, never in a million years did I think you would sit at this table after what we went through last year and say, I felt backed in a corner, so I reached out to our sworn enemy. Heather practicing for the Emmys of 2025. You know, Heather going, let's get all the lines right. What did we rehearse? You know, now I'm acting now. I'm a thespian. Never in a million years did I imagine that you would reach out to our sworn enemy. Mary pipes up, first of all, you guys are not the friendliest people, okay? And Meredith goes, are you talking about me, Mary Cosby? Yeah, I am. You too. You are not the friendliest. You are not the friendliest. And you're not either. You aren't. When you guys get mad at people and you gang up on them, and then you make people do things in despair. And Lisa goes, no. And Mary's like, yeah, I've been there. Mary Cosby, once again, the voice of reason. What the fuck? And then Heather goes, the bridge. This is the problem, you guys. We're about to get to the stage setup. The fact that that man had access to you is embarrassing, and you should cut it off. So I think she's talking about Adam here, the blogger, podcaster. You should cut it off, Meredith, and change your number. As should you, Whitney. The fact that someone can call me and tell me that my friend is lying to all of us, betraying all of us. And then Heather drops an Alec Baldwin goodie. Consider the source. Both of you. And Meredith goes, but it's true. You did the exact same thing, Meredith. You got involved. Do not put your bad, dirty behavior on me. You did it too, Meredith. No! Don't you dare! I didn't enlist him to lie. I didn't enlist him to do any of these things. I didn't enlist him to lie either. I didn't call Monica. You are dishonest. And now you're going to tell, because somebody told me the truth, I'm responsible for your bad behavior? And nobody notices, but Meredith literally has a butter knife in one of her hands. I'm like, Meredith, holy shit. Put down the butter knife. Pause. We've been rocked. Heather goes into thespian mode again. Look at us. We are obsessed with trying to find the receipts, trying to find the proof, trying to poke holes in each other's stories. Remember the line that I'm a legend for? With the receipts and the proof? What did I leave out? Screenshots. I forget screenshots. But we're trying to expose each other. I will be doing the rest of this in a Shakespearean accent. Find out about who planted a story about us. It's not okay to have you having a horrible fight with them over a blogger who's exploiting all of you, a stranger on the internet, a stranger, and he's turning you against each other. Up and at 'em, turning you up and at 'em against each other. Do you see what this blogger is doing? Here we go with some more written out bullshit. Every day we have to put on our armor to face the things the world is going to say about us, to be accountable for the things we do, for the people we are. We are judged by the things we do, and we are judged privately and we are judged publicly, but we understand it. So we should support each other. We should understand that it hurts when we're called bad mothers. It hurts when somebody attacks our business. It hurts when someone says that we are ugly. Once more into the breach. These are the types of things that we have to fight in the world. We shouldn't have to fight them here at this table. We're enjoying pepperoni pizzas and Meredith's tacos. We made fun of Monica for having a burn book. Whitney shakes her head yes, we did. Heather goes, and we all have our own burn books. Silence. But our burn books aren't like a curated fucking copy of Mean Girls. They're in our phones. I was like, what? Huh? I was kind of into the speech at first. I was like, okay, it's kind of like Braveheart. Okay, rallying the troops. Where are we going? And then I'm like, in our phones? What? They're in our iPhones. Brittany, I think you have a Nokia, but those are the iPhones. Heather continues, and none of us are without fault. We've all said horrible, hurtful things about each other when we should have been honoring and celebrating and keeping this space sacred and private. All I heard this whole night is I want to prove you as a bad friend. I want to prove you as a bad friend. I want to prove you as a bad friend. We thought we got rid of the problem last year. Meredith, by the way, there's a tight shot of Meredith's reaction where I think she's completely somewhere else in her mind. She's like, did I leave the stove on at the villa? Interesting. I seem to remember turning it on, but I don't know if I turned it off. Interesting. Heather continues, but we didn't. I was like, what? Heather goes, and I think tonight we're going to solve it like a Scooby-Doo mystery. We will solve it tonight. I think we should take our phones, go through our text messages, find the worst thing we've said about someone at this table. We're going to hand the thing that you said to that person that you said it about, and they're going to read it out loud to the group. And there's kind of light reactions to this, oh, really? Oh, my God. In a million years, I didn't think that's where that was going. Was it thrilling in the moment? Yeah, because it was so bizarre and a twist. And if you watch it 4 times like I have, you go, that does not make sense. Huh? But that's the beauty, the Lynchian quality of we got them there to wait. So I say we take out our phones and we each put them in our butts. That's right. our butts and we never use our phones again. That's what we will solve it by putting it in our butt. Like, that would have made more sense to me. Like, wait, what? Wait, now you got me working. We got to go through like how for like, well, can we get a time frame on it? Well, the last couple of months, like how far back are we going? There's so much thought that had to go into this. It's such a monologue. And that's the beauty of Salt Lake, that this is so clearly set up and staged. And at this point, the producers have to be in on it. I still hold true to the theory that Heather, and she talks about a little in her book, that she said she found out about Monica a little earlier on while they were filming the 4th season, but didn't say anything to the other ladies and the producers. And then finally she came out with it and explained to the producers while they were there on that last vacation of the 4th season. And she explained to the producers, they didn't understand why it was such a big deal, but she said, no, the other ladies will get it. Trust me, blah, 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 blah. But I think Heather had been planning that in her head all along. This one, I think, is a little different. I think the producers were like, we need something to really tie it all together. But still, no matter how you cut it, this is such a leap. This is such a leap. And it was just like, my thought was just, what? Like, how would this solve anything? Like the burn book, obviously the Mean Girls burn book that Monica pulled out at the reunion that had nasty, like, you know, she's a fugly slut, that kind of shit in it. Which was tacky in its own right, but like Heather has now used it as a device in this final episode of, we all have our burn books, but they're on our phones and our iPads and our Kindles and our Palm Pilots. Shout out to the Todd father. Yes, we shall pull them out. This had to take a little bit of planning because, you know, like you're like I will give each person 10 minutes to find it on their, like, it just logistically doesn't make any sense from a technical standpoint. But it also doesn't make, like, and also it's just so weirdly cruel that I don't see how any of, like, this is how much they, I guess, trust Heather, where they're like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's solve it tonight. The mystery will do that. Like, what? I can't go there. It's thrilling, but the fakery makes it that much more thrilling as well because it's so bizarre and so weird. At the same time, it does work in a sense. So I ain't mad at it, but it's so laughable. Well, you know, my thought was like, Heather's like, it's called Russian roulette. I will pass around this gun and it has one bullet in it. You know, like click, 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 you know, like what the fuck? We will then beat the shit out of the person with the meanest thing in their phone. None of it made sense. But it made sense because it's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It's just that kind of bizarreness works on this show. Oh, you guys, it's like we're nearing the 2-hour mark. These are long form. I hate that I feel the urge to apologize, but there's so much exciting stuff to talk about. So hopefully you're still with me. If not, come back on Monday for the Pop Culture Roundup. It'll be more focused. And we also have the Traders, which will be like an hour. So those will be more focused. But I'm just, whoo. So we come back from break and we have to hear that whole, like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take out our cell phones. Blah, 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 blah. We hear that whole instruction thing again, like any of us forgot in the commercial break. Like, oh, where were we? Oh, that's right. The phone thing. Okay, I've got it now. If I was at the table, I'd be like, or we can go back to the room and order cheesecake and have a chill night. We could do that too. And that would solve the mystery and bring us together. Yeah? Okay, cool. Let's do that. Let's go back to the room. Okay? Because also, you think any of these, if this was actually on the spot, you think one of these knuckleheads would not have agreed to it. No way. No way. So everybody's looking at each other. Oh, are we going to do it? And Heather goes, we burn it and we move on. And Meredith goes, I think that's absurd. As she's looking on her phone, everybody's already like, and you can see they have their phones out already. Like, that's how ridiculous. Like, Bronwyn, you can see already has her phone with the text up on the screen. Like, I'm ready to go. So everybody's like looking at their phone. This is very real, you guys. Very real. Everybody's looking. Okay, this one. Angie goes, oh my God. Oh. Check, please. Check, please. Mary and talking goes, this is going to be interesting to see how the other person feels about them and accept it and hear it and listen to it. Mary really playing ball this season. Mary says, it'll show a lot of who you are. Heather goes, who wants to start? A lot of pauses. And Mary goes, I'll go first. And I wrote this about you, Heather. And she passes her phone to Heather. Tender music is playing. Heather reads it. And she goes, oh. And then she goes, oh no. Heather's crying. And Heather reads it. Heather, from day one, I never felt accepted by her or included as part of this group. She changed once she became successful. I think it went to her head. She started getting aggressive and referring back to all the things she accomplished and threw it in our faces. And instead of being grateful for her blessings, it changed her to become competitive and super mean, all while she enjoyed the feeling of fame. She has forgotten the people who helped her get to where she is. A lot of pauses. And who are truly happy and proud of her, like I have been and always will be. XOXO Gossip Girl. Heather, through tears, stares at Mary, having finished what Mary... But this is what I'm saying. This felt like Mary didn't understand the assignment. She was like, oh, I'll just write something out. Because this didn't feel like a text exchange. It felt like something like, oh, I'll write this. And it was very actually nice. It was... But also, once again, Mary's actually made the most sense in some ways. Because I literally thought, if you've watched the show, I literally thought it was going to be Heather's inbred. Because she said that to Heather's face. So I thought it was going to be something like that. This was actually a constructed thing that made sense, beginning, middle, end. And I will tell you, it probably is annoying in the recap, but there's so many pauses in this, but the pauses work because it builds that kind of tension and the feeling that it wants to evoke. She passes the phone back to Mary, and you can see that it is a screenshot of a blue text thread, but not an actual text thread. It's weird. So Mary looks at Heather, like, yeah. And Heather goes, I understand why you said those things. I think it's obviously unfair because I lost a lot of things as I've become more and more successful. But I feel like I'm aware of the things I've lost and the person I've become. But like I like her better and she's more authentically me. But like, I know my life has fundamentally changed. I know who I was 5 years ago when I met you. I know how I felt about myself, about my life, and about my future. I had zero hope, zero ambition. I just wanted to like plug along, not screw up my kids, and be put out to pasture. But like the successes I've had have like fueled me to like want a second chapter, she says. So Heather is really interesting, and especially if you listen or read these books too, because you do get into more of her story. Now, when we met Heather, she still had that first location of Beauty Lab and Laser. So she was successful to some degree. And I do want to point out that all of these ladies seem like good mothers. I mean, like, that's not something that I would even, I don't think really comment on, but I do think that Heather's a good mother. But if you read the book, Heather's very also open about loving fame, which is not a crime, but you can tell she loves it. She, even in her book, she has multiple stories about wanting to feel special, wanting to be special. She has one story about having a crush on one of her college teachers and going in and wanting to, and talking to him about it. And wanting to, trying to impress him by listening to Neil Young because that was his favorite musician. And she would try to adopt the personality of whoever she liked. And she just wanted to feel special, wanted to feel loved, which I think makes sense. And I think I felt that way. I think you guys have felt that way. But I think she really, really likes fame. And that's a real slippery slope because fame also has so much baggage that goes along with it. We notice that when we talk about celebrities, there's so much baggage nowadays. It's not like the old days with fame. Fame is now all encompassing, and it's everybody needs to know everything. And you can see that it does obviously change. Like all of these ladies have changed. And I think, obviously in some good ways and some bad ways. And there's a thing of like having to get used to fame, having to get used to the status of people wanting to be around you all of a sudden and wanting to listen to you. And all of a sudden you are important when you've not been listened to maybe the way. Like it's really, Heather is an interesting case study. And it is interesting that she has become the voice, the de facto voice of these ladies. In a talking head, Heather says, I can understand why me having more boundaries and having more confidence can look like me being mean, but I don't feel mean in my heart. I feel great. Okay, well, you don't feel it mean in your heart. Okay, well, I guess it's solved. Just because you don't feel mean doesn't mean it's not perceived as mean. But she says, I don't ever want my newfound confidence to come across as mean. That's not my intention, she says. Mary in the scene goes, I'm just saying what my perspective and what I received. I'm not saying you're there now. I'm saying what that's the feeling I had gotten in the past. And Heather goes, okay. And then talking head, Mary says, well, I know Heather has changed and I know she's different. I told her how I really felt and I felt like she received it. And I feel like this is the Heather that I know, that I used to know. This is her tonight. And I love that. I love this for us, Mary says. So Heather looks at Mary and goes, clean slate. And Mary goes, okay, love you. And Heather says, love you. They touch hands. Who wants to go next? And Brittany goes, I'll go next. Uh-oh, here we go. And Brittany says, I wrote something about Mary. Tense music. Dun, 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 dun. Mary grabs Brittany's phone. Brittany in a talking head says, Mary is the person in this group that I've had the hardest time connecting with. And I've said the meanest thing about. So Mary reads it and kind of makes a face. Brittany says, I really just want to burn the past. Start fresh. And Mary goes, I don't know that. And Brittany goes, it's just that one part in the middle. It's just that one part that I mentioned your name. And Mary reads it where it says, I would like to invite Bronwyn over for tea instead of Mary tomorrow. And Brittany's like, uh-huh. And Mary makes a face like, huh? Heather goes, that's the meanest thing you had in your phone? And Brittany's like, the only thing I've had in my phone about Mary. And Angie's like, you went out on a limb. And Mary goes, that's great. And I talking to Ed, Mary goes, she'd rather have tea with Bronwyn than me? I agree. She should have tea with Bronwyn. I don't even know when her and I were supposed to have tea. Like when? When he goes, that's the meanest thing you've ever said about anyone here? Brittany goes, yeah. Angie goes, oh my God, Hopa. Brittany goes, I did a search and that was the meanest thing. I wonder if she looked at her text, if this is true at all, and just typed in meanest thing. Like, I did a search in my text and I just wrote meanest thing and that popped up. I almost believe Brittany. I almost believe that this possibly is. But I will say, check the deleted deleteds. You can see the deleted deleteds. Check the deleted deleteds. We don't know, but that's what Brittany is. I kind of almost believe it. And then Bronwyn's like, okay, I'll follow that because I wrote about you, Brittany. I said it, and she hands her phone to Brittany. It's how I feel. It's how I felt. It's how I felt off and on. What if this is the moment we realize Brittany can't read? She's like, like sound it out. Brittany starts reading Bronwyn's text. Brittany is emotionally manipulative. She parentifies her children, trauma bonds in relationships, and is doing it to us. It's below her intelligence level, her age and maturity level, and it makes me feel nervous, furious, and embarrassed for her. This is like, if these are text exchanges, like, that's wild. Like, my text exchanges are like, can we get more Diet Coke at the store? Anyways, Brittany takes this in, and Bronwyn shakes her head. Yes. In a talking head, Bronwyn says, out of all the women here, Brittany is the most frustrating for me. I don't like spending time with her. Every time I do, it feels like this insane trauma dump that just really makes me uncomfortable. And we have flashbacks to the entire season of Brittany trauma dumping about her daughters and Brittany having an issue with it earlier in the season. They've obviously had friction the entire season, and I don't think we probably saw half of it. Bronwyn says, I'm willing to own that I've been harsh, and I'm going to promise her some empathy going forward as I get to know her more. In the scene, Bronwyn says, that's harsh, and I'm sorry. Brittany says, that is extremely harsh, and you don't know me well enough to know any of these things about me, actually. You don't know me at all, if that's what you think about me. Bronwyn's like, I'm being honest with you, and I'm sorry. And Brittany's like, you don't know that. You don't know that about me at all. You don't know my relationship with my kids. And Bronwyn's like, I'm telling you I'm sorry. In a talking head, Bronwyn says, I feel for Brittany and whatever she's gone through. But at her big age, it's time for her to say my relationships are not working. What do I need to do to fix them? In the scene, she says, I am sorry, and I would like to get to know a different side of you if you're telling me there is one there. That's really me saying I would like to try with you. You're going to take it or don't. And Brittany goes, I'll take it. I'll take it. But Bronwyn keeps going, and I'm okay with whatever you'd like to do. And she's already said, I'll take it. I'll take it. So we're good there, right? Okay, so we're good, right? This is good. Okay, it's not as bad as we thought. Okay, now it's Angie. Angie's like, I'll go. I'm like, okay, what's Angie going to say, right? And Angie gives us a little more. She says, I sent this text to Heather. She wrote a little ditty about Bronwyn. Oh my gosh. She's reading it. And she looks at Bronwyn. She says, it was in a moment of some emotion. And Bronwyn's like, you don't need to preface it. It's okay. I'll take it. It's okay. The phone gets passed to Bronwyn. Oh, it's so brutal. And she goes, oh my God. And Bronwyn reads, you can see internally what she is reading is not pleasing. She opens her mouth like a little gasp of air, like you don't even hear. It's like, ooh, and she starts reading. Bronwyn seems nice. I like her business plan, marrying a guy who has one foot in the grave. And Angie's like, oh, she's already crying because Bronwyn is crying. And one on a banana peel. Ooh. But I like mine better. I'd rather be self-made. She's nice, but she doesn't listen. Because her ears are stitched down to her face so tight, she can't hear anything. She wears a hot dog outfit to remind us she sucked her way to the top. Oh, kick the kids out of the room, you guys. Kick the kids out. Get him out. Get him out. Get the kids out. Holy fucking shit. What? Holy fucking what? This is what. Okay, so just joke construction wise, this was mean as hell. But it also was written in a way that the jokes were there. Like, this was like good, like fucking, it was well written. I was like weirdly impressed, and then having to remind myself of how damn mean it was towards Bronwyn. This one was just, had to be gut-wrenching. From the ears to the sucking your way to the top to making fun of Todd to like it was why Angie fucking is in. Oh my goodness, Angie, wow. In a talking head, Angie says, I wrote the text in the heat of the moment. After camping the way that Bronwyn treated me, I was confused because I knew I was one of the only ones that defended her and really welcomed her into the group. And we flash back to that moment at that camping trip where Bronwyn's like, you two told me stuff about Lisa and said, I don't know that version of Lisa. You two told me that Lisa has fucked you both over and it was going to happen to me. And Angie's like, fuck me over? I said, fuck me over, Bronwyn? Did I say Lisa fucked me over, Whitney? In the talking head, Angie says, and then she turns on me like that? Like, that really hurt me. But I realized watching her read it, that damage that my words can do to someone, and I deeply regret it. It's not having watched myself on television now for 2 seasons. It's watching Bronwyn read that text in that moment. I deeply, that was brutal. It was brutal. Fucking whoa. Bronwyn says, okay, and passes the phone back. Angie kind of has this like little smile. She goes, I'm sorry. Bronwyn, you can just tell, looks like she's been hit. Like, she's like, you don't need to be sorry. It's how you feel. And Angie's like, it's how I felt in the moment. Bronwyn, in a talking head, says, this has nothing to do with the only time Angie and I haven't ever gotten along. This is a personal, very cutting thing to say about me, and from somebody who tells me all the time she thinks I look great or she loves my husband, and if she thinks that I'm ugly on the outside or ugly enough on the inside to be with somebody just for money, then they probably shouldn't have wanted to be friends with me. In the scene, she tells Angie, you feel how you feel, and Angie says, I don't feel that way. And Bronwyn's like, you probably because of the way I've treated people and what you've seen, and I'm taking it, but it's a clean slate, and I'm not going to hold it against you. It's a clean slate. And Angie's like, I'm sorry. I do like your hot dog costume. I do like your hot dog. I was hurt, and I said it in a moment of emotion, and I think you're beautiful, and I'm sorry. And Bronwyn just keeps going, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No, we're good. We're good. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, she looks like she got the wind knocked out. It's okay. Yep. Angie, dude, the silent killer. Dude, I need Angie to write punch-up jokes for, like, comedians. That was... By the way, the producers had to have read Angie's and be like, we need to do, like, a roast episode next season. And then Lisa's like, I'll go next. And this one wasn't in the Bravo version, just the extended. And it's weird. Lisa's like, I wrote up... Okay, by the way, I also want to point out, this is why this is also staged. Because if said, let's think of the meanest thing we said about somebody, they all might have picked the same person. Like the fact that they all had different people. Like, you're telling me nobody's going to double up? Like, well, I have one about Bronwyn as well. Like, how did that work? Like, everybody just conveniently had a different person than the other person? Lisa goes, this is last year when I was super upset, Meredith. And passes the phone to Meredith. And Meredith reads it. I feel like Meredith digs up information to weaponize it. It's fucking dirty and I don't like it. Womp womp. Womp womp. In a talking head, Lisa goes, I feel like over the last few years, we accused Meredith of digging up information and trying to get it out there. And for me, it's like, hey, let's just clear the air on this. We were ready to tie her up and throw her over the catamaran last year. Meredith goes, given where we were last year, I'm not surprised. And Lisa's like, yeah, last year I was super upset. And Meredith looks, she goes, okay. Okay, this was not the meanest thing in Lisa's phone, period. Have you ever seen Lisa Barlow on Twitter? Like, Lisa fucking will, I'm saying this in almost in admiration. Like, Lisa goes for the jugular, and she's pretty, like, I think Lisa does her own Twitter. I don't know if she's hired somebody, but if she hired somebody, they fucking are vicious. But there's no way that person that I read their tweets, this is the meanest thing in her phone. No way. No way. Period. In the story. And if Lisa cheated on this exercise, because you got Angie reading one of the nastiest things I've watched on television in 2025. Granted, it's only 2 weeks in, but it's been a tough 2 weeks. Angie in a talking head goes, does she expect us to believe this is the worst thing she said about Meredith? She called her a garbage whore 2 years ago. Come on, Lisa. What is really in your phone? Exactly, Angie K. Exactly. All the ladies are just staring at each other. And then Heather goes, I'll go next. I'll talk more. Mine's about Whitney. Angie goes, oh. And then Whitney goes, my heart already hurts. Heather goes, I'm sorry, as she passes her phone over. Tense music. Heather in a talking head says, I mean, it's no secret that Whitney has hurt me the most in this group because I was the closest to her. Wait a sec. I get so confused. Whitney's hurt Heather the most in the group because I was close to her. Jen Shaw didn't hurt you the most? Fucking Monica Garcia didn't hurt you the most? Whitney hurt you the most? Make it make sense. Heather continues. And a few years ago, we had a colossal fight in Arizona that we are still today recovering from. And we flash back to that Arizona scene. It was like when they were all in lingerie. And I will tell you, like, Heather really does have a body transformation, because you really see what a different body type she had to what she, and it, you know, sometimes you did know that there was like a very different, like, over the years through Heather, but, you know, flashing back on this, you're like, wow, there really has been this change in terms of looks, which has also got to mess with your head as well when you change, like, it's fucking like the substance, right? But we flash back to that scene where Heather is like wasted and yelling at Whitney, fuck you for calling me a fucking liar. You called me a liar. And Heather's like, God damn you. You lost me, bitch. You lost me. Heather says, when she betrayed me in Arizona, that made me regret ever being her friend. So Whitney reads it in her head, looks at Heather, and Heather goes, it was in the moment of rage. Whitney sniffles. Whitney is a low-life, thirsty piece of shit. I love that this was like so edited, like every line, there'd be this pause you could drive a truck through. She sold her soul for fame and recognition. She's a snake and I should have never trusted her. I've been so stupid and loyal carrying her Wild Rose products, even though we never sold a fucking one. And she clunks Heather's phone back to her, and she's crying. And Angie goes, she doesn't mean it. Yes, she does. Angie goes, no, you don't, do you? And Heather goes, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I did it like we all do it, and I said it out of hurt and rage and frustration, and I'm sorry. And I'm putting it out there so it can be done. Okay? Heather says, I don't understand how you thought your life would get better by hurting me, Whitney, and becoming my adversary. Do you know how powerful I am, Whitney Rose? And she goes, becoming my enemy. It never made sense to me, and it hurt my feelings deeply, because it was like, what are you trying to upgrade? But wasn't Heather doing the same thing in bowing down to people like Lisa and Jen Shaw? Heather keeps explaining, so when you betrayed me, it cuts much deeper, and my reaction is much swifter. But I love you, and I always want to be good with you. May I make another argument, though, is that I think it's that Heather thinks she's better than Whitney and always has. And I think it's been easy for her to be cruel to Whitney, or at least that's how the edit has made it look like to me. It made it look like she's always been trying to impress somebody that she feels has a higher status, and she feels Whitney's at a lower status. That's how it's always read to me. But in this version, she's saying, no, it hurts much deeper because you're this, this, and this. Heather goes, and if anyone understands me, you do. And then Whitney goes, and I don't want to betray you. I want to be good to you. I want to be a good friend to you. And Heather goes, starting now? Always. So we're good. We're solid. And Heather's like, it's burned. We're good. We're good. I promise you. Do you promise? And then they do this little hand thing. I don't know. They do this roll hand thing and then bow to each other with their hands, which I'm like, oh, lock them both up at this point. And then Whitney goes, all right, I'll go next. I chose Lisa. Guys, everybody, it's been like, okay, we've all accepted this. You know, everybody's just gnarly, but we're going to get through this, right? Nothing weird is going to happen from this point on. We'll just read this last mean one and we'll get over it, and we go on to the next thing. I chose Lisa. I wrote this text to Angie after I heard this rumor from a friend of mine, and I just feel like I chose this because I feel like this is the thing that I feel the worst about, and I want to clear the air about it. And then Lisa was like, "Kay," and like puts her hand out for the phone. "Kay." She reads it. And we hear Lisa. Get ready to buckle up, folks. Lisa goes, so I was at a party with Justin and a woman approached us saying that if we ever wanted to bring in a third, she is our girl. In fact, Lisa and John can vouch for her because she has made out with Lisa while jerking off John. What the fuck? What is this show about? Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. She made out with Lisa while she was jerking off. And then Lisa goes, what the fuck is this about? And when he goes, I don't believe it. And Lisa's like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? And just throws her phone at Whitney. I chose that because I feel like the worst part of things that I've done to you. There's a shot of Angie almost giggling to herself. The worst things I've done to you have been about your marriage, Lisa. And I don't believe this. Angie is fully covering her face with her hand. It's like Jimmy Fallon breaking in the More Cowbell sketch. Like, I got a fever, and the only thing that can solve it is more cowbell. And Jimmy's like, like Angie's like almost fully cracking up. And then Lisa goes, because it's not true. I don't believe it to be true. My husband has like the most amazing integrity. He doesn't even like hand jobs. You have denigrated my character multiple times. You have lied about me repeatedly. I'm trying to clear the air with you on this. I want to burn it. I mean, I don't know how I feel right now because there have been so many lies. The fact you would even put that out there. And Angie goes, wait, what do you mean me? All of a sudden Angie's like, what do you mean me? And Lisa's like, look, what was said about Sean last year? So now Sean's getting brought into this. We got shrapnel from Whitney's text. It's gone off Whitney to Angie and Sean. So Angie's all of a sudden like, oh shit, like she's not laughing now. And Whitney's like, the roses stood up for you, Lisa. And Lisa does her, there's nothing to stand up for, Whitney! I love when Lisa just explodes yells because she'll be like, that's ridiculous. There's nothing to stand up for, Whitney! It's a fucking lie. It's fucking disgusting. You took it too far. You involved my husband. No, this was the point, to get it all out there. And Lisa's like, Heather's like, yeah, to get it all out there. Remember my big speech? The beautiful speech, the speech, right? How would this possibly backfire? How could this possibly? It was such a great idea. It made tons of sense. It was going so good. How could it possibly go wrong? Heather goes to gather all of us fucking here and put it out there and burn it. It's the worst thing that I've said, Lisa, and I want to burn it. Hand jobs. And Lisa's like, honestly, it's like too much. If someone said that about Sean and you, Angie. And Angie goes, I don't believe there's any infidelity in your marriage, Lisa. So please don't point at me. And then when he goes, I could have gone down a different path, a less healing path. And then Heather goes, Lisa. And when he's like, Lisa, do you understand the assignment of the game? Assignment! You were assigned this. You know it was a group email. Because I could have chose to say something about your looks. I could have chose to say something about... And Lisa goes, oh, say it about my looks. That would be way better than talking about my husband and hand jobs. What do you want to say about... I wanted to be authentic and true. What do you want to say about my looks? I'm most sorry for... Stop fucking apologizing, Whitney! You don't fucking mean it. You're dirty as fuck, and I'm so sick of it. I'm not dirty. Whitney, enough! You are so dirty. Well, you're filthy. And then Heather's like, lower, sir. And Heather's like, Lisa, we told her to do this. We told her. You told her to do this, but she took it to another low. And when he's like, I did not. This is what I'm sorry for. The hand job. In a talking head, Lisa goes, I get the exercise, but this is not something that you throw away and burn. This is how you burn a relationship to the fucking ground. To put my family and my marriage in the mud like this, there's no lower than this. This is disgusting. And Heather keeps going, hey, hey, hey. And Lisa's now crying, and Meredith is like trying to hug Lisa. And Lisa's like, one too many times. That is one too many. 3 strikes. You're fucking out. Bitch, you are out. And Heather's like, she did this to start fresh. I'm not starting fresh. I'm done. You have a fucked up mind. You are so fucked up on a level I can't even explain. And then Whitney goes, shut. And okay, guys, this is the moment where I'm like, oh my God, did Whitney take a note of mine? Because you guys have heard, well, but like at multiple times I said, at some point, Whitney's got to go from the voice she has, this is a normal voice that she has, had. Like in the Police Academy movies, these silly movies with Steve Guttenberg from the 80s, there was this one lady cop that would always be like, da, da, da. And then like every movie she'd get to a point, she'd be like, listen up, you fucking pigs. Da, da, da. And it'd be such a funny moment. And then finally, Whitney does like, Lisa, you don't understand. And then Lisa's like going off, and Whitney goes, shut the fuck up and listen to me. Like she goes deeper into her register. I was like, whoa, we did it. And Lisa's like, I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to you. And Mary's like, nobody believes it, Lisa. Nobody. And Lisa picks up flowers and is trying to hide behind it. And Lisa's like, I don't care if no one believes it. It's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. And then Lisa is in this with Whitney, but once again, shrapnel at Angie and Sean. And Lisa goes, I heard that Sean does circle jerks. How does that feel? Like she basically said the same thing. And Angie goes, what the fuck was that? And stands up and throws flowers at Lisa Barlow. And Lisa goes, no, I'm saying that's what she just said to me. And Angie's like, why would you fucking say that? And we have a female producer, jump in and grabs Angie. And Angie's like, don't touch me. I'm Greek. Do not touch me. I'm Greek. Step away. Holy moly, you guys. Let's talk about this for a second. Okay. Listen. I truly do not like they're like we had that like Whitney rumor that Lisa with the courtside seats back in season 3, right? I just don't see this. I don't see this. I don't see Sean getting jerked off by somebody else. I don't see it. And by the way, if that's your thing, that's awesome. I have nothing against threesomes, fourths. I mean, I think the Diddy freak out, like, you know what I'm saying? If they're consenting adults, do whatever you want to do. But I just don't, like, dude, come on. You tell me John Barlow is getting jerked off by another lady while that other lady makes out with Lisa Barlow? No fucking way. But at the same time, this is where you just want referees. Can somebody just tell me for sure? Can somebody just tell me? Because I just don't, it would rock my world because there's no fucking way that I believe Lisa Barlow is out there swinging on the mean streets of Salt Lake City. I don't believe it. Just tell me. It's not true, right? It's not true. I'm frustrated, you guys. Frustrated. That's why. I just don't believe it. But now I need to know everything. I need to know everybody's finances. I need to know. My head is not going to. Just tell me, guys. Can somebody tell me if this is true or not? There's no way. There's no way. We've seen John Barlow. There's no way. And I don't. Also, I love that John. I love that Whitney and Justin were at some place and a woman came up there and asked if they wanted a third. I was like, I've never been asked to participate in a third or fourth or even a second. Hey, never. Like, I want to know where this was. Was this like a Chili's in Salt Lake City? Like, where are we at? Are we at BravoCon? I want to know. Like, it just brings more questions into my mind. But I just don't believe this. Okay, now, Lisa, weirdly enough, throws it all over to Angie and Sean, bringing up the rumors that we've talked about were so horrible. And so, just horrible, about Sean, Angie's husband, and about circle jerks. Now, me and Rebecca, we had a disagreement the other night because I said, what really are circle jerks? I said, do the guys, in my head, as I was picturing things, as a grown adult, I said, do guys just sit around and jerk off in a circle? Like and that's like the thing that's like hot to them, which is fine. Like if they're all consenting adults, like do whatever you want to do. And Rebecca was like, no, it's when a guy is in the middle and they're all jerking off on that guy. And I was like, really? And then I'm ashamed to admit that we looked it up, and it is where you are jerking off in a circle. Nobody is in the middle. And we found out that is something called bukkake. And so that's one to grow on. The more you know, this is a family show and I want to keep it that way. So, but at the same time, yeah, like, knowledge is power. But I also want to also throw in, I don't think Sean is, I don't know. I guess I just don't know enough about the range of sexual experiences. Like, are circle jerks, are they really normal? Like, is that like a part? Is that like a part of everybody's repertoire? Like, hey, come on over and circle jerk tonight. Like, it could be. Like, sadly, there's no joke in this. I'm truly asking, is this a normal part of everybody's sexual experience? Like, I've never, I'm not ashamed. I've never done a threesome, or I've never, I've just done the two-person thing, me and the other person. And I've never done any circle jerking. I've never jerked off in front of another dude. Like, by the way, now I don't really actually need to tell you any about this, but I also if that's your thing, but I don't think Sean's out there circle jerking in Salt Lake City. Guys, the more I watch the show, the more I'm like, we got to get me to Salt Lake. Like, between that and Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I got to spend some time. I got to be boots on the ground. I got to be there, man. Like, it's calling to me right now. Oh. Like, what if the first night I'm in Salt Lake, I immediately get approached to be a third and I circle jerk? What if that happens like right out of the gate? And I'm like, holy shit, mind blown. We come back from commercial break and it's immediately, we hear the line, I heard that Sean circle jerks. How does that feel? She basically said the same thing. We see the whole thing again, throw the flowers. The producer holds Angie back. And, Heather Gay is watching this in abject horror. Who knew this could have possibly gone wrong? And Angie's like, why did you say that? And I think her nipple is falling out because I think there's a little pixelated right there. And Lisa's like, because it's the same thing she just said to me. And Angie's like, why did you bring me into that? Fucking go after her, not me. And Mary's like, Angie, stop. I love you. And Lisa's like, I'm saying it's hurtful. Angie goes, fuck you. Fucking low. You started this whole thing. I did not start this whole thing. I had nothing to do with you. And Mary's like, get a grip of yourself, Angie. Get a grip of yourself. Stop. And Lisa goes, this is fine. It's only okay when it happens to you. It's not okay when it happens to me. That's how it is. And Mary is walking Angie off. And when he goes, Lisa, take a deep breath. No, I'm not going to take a deep breath. It only happens when it happens to me. And Mary's walking off with Angie going, that's just mean. I don't know why she got to say your name. In a talking head, Mary says, I think that Lisa tried to make Angie feel how Whitney just made her feel. I think she wanted Angie to relate with her, but she just didn't land the plane. I love Mary completely nailing when a scene doesn't work. She didn't land that. We all landed the plane. She didn't land that plane. I'm going to tell you that. No timing. And then all of a sudden, I was my BPM's going while I'm watching this. I'm fucking circle jerking. I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. And all of a sudden, I'm in my head, I'm like, we got a half hour more of this show. Like, holy shit. And they did this fucking thing where and DirecTV, shout out to DirecTV, they do this thing where it says an hour and a half. So I thought I was getting an hour and a half episode. And what they did was they tacked on Watch What Happens Live to it. And so I wasn't expecting it to end here. I thought we were still getting the next day. So I was all of a sudden the postscripts start popping up. And I'm like, wait, what? No. And it has Angie's postscript with her and her daughter Electra. They show them in the kitchen. And it says, no longer being tied to the phone, Angie now has more time to spend with her father, leaving Electra free to roam. Her salons are busier than ever. Fortunately, high body count hair is not offered as a service. So that was Angie's. No mention about circle jerks. Wild. Okay, so that was Angie's. And we're back in the scene, and Lisa's like, you just said the most disgusting thing about the nicest person on earth. And I don't believe it. No, and then it doesn't matter. We'll all be upset when it's somebody else. It's always okay when it happens to me, but nobody else. And Bronwyn's like, it's not okay. Lisa, no one is saying it's okay. And then Meredith is like, sorry. Like Heather's face is like, yeah. And Meredith is crying, there's nothing okay about any of this. There's nothing okay. And Lisa goes, nobody said any sexual things about anybody else's marriage but mine. Nobody else said anything about hand jobs to anybody else. When he goes, Lisa, you're not hearing what I'm saying. No, I'm not. I don't want to hear you anymore. And Bronwyn says, this is bullshit. It's only important when it's her fucking marriage. It's not about believing me. It's the fact that you would even go there. Bronwyn says, a lot of stuff's been said about my marriage too. And in a talking head, Bronwyn says, Lisa is repulsive. I'm sorry. I like John as much as the next person, but John's no better than any husband at this table. And for her to say, how dare you speak about my marriage, and then turn it around on Angie's marriage. In this scene, Lisa's like fully hysterical. I can't even breathe. Everybody's true colors at this table are coming out. The people who want to have friendships, the people who can own their own shit, and the people who are surface fucking narcissists. I think she meant Lisa. Lisa gets up and goes, I literally get this fucking mic off me. She starts tearing the mic off her body. And all of a sudden, Lisa's postscript comes up. Lisa, John, and Henry have, quote, gone the distance this summer, traveling around the world first class, and can't wait until Jack returns from his mission in 6 months. Meanwhile, Lisa and John have plans to build a new home, but no intentions to sell the one they're in, I think? I can't read the bottom of the screen here. What if it said something about circle jerks? Anyways, we see Lisa walk off. And Bronwyn tells the rest of the table that are still there, there were awful things said about my marriage, too. I'm not telling Lisa to get over it, but I don't understand why she can say something about Angie's marriage while Angie can say something about my marriage, and it's unforgivable when it's said about hers. If this was the game we're playing and we're all burning shit, then everyone has to burn it. Or it's not fair that some people have to eat it and other people don't. I mean, very true. That was the agreement. Heather, how could this possibly have gone wrong? How could you have known, Heather? It's not your fault. How could you have known? Heather goes, yeah, the point was to level the playing field. It's such an easy, relatable game. Any of us would have done that. We all would have thought that same thought. Very understandable, this game. Heather's like, no one is superior to another, right? And then Meredith goes, I'm out. I'm done. And Heather's like, Meredith, you can't leave. We have to wrap up the dinner. You haven't finished your tacos. I am finished, Meredith says. I don't give a fuck. I am finished. I don't give a fuck. Whitney goes, like, why can we all sit here and take it and they can't? Tense music as Meredith walks off. Whitney looks at the cameras. All of a sudden, Meredith's postscript pops up on screen. Since becoming a bat mitzvah, Meredith has been engaging more with her spirituality. After selling out of her bath bombs, she is now pivoting from beauty to the world of espionage, working on a signature pink MM recording device. She will not be sharing her business plans with Whitney, it says. Oh my God, is that real? Is she really going to do a recording device? And if she really does, I would buy that from a reality show museum. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love it. Yeah, man. Make a recording to fucking make spy shit. Yeah. Back at the table. They're all just Whitney, Heather, Bronwyn are the only ones still there. Heather goes, you guys, this is the last way I wanted it our trip. Crazy, right? Anywho, I'm so sorry. Truly. My book is in paperback. Okay. And a talking head, Mary goes, oh goodness, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Like, I was all thinking we were going to have adult conversations. Like, I didn't know tempers were going to be flying off the charts and people were going to be throwing flowers. Like, it just turned into a full-blown brawl. But the only people upset about this is the people that are not real. And the people that have a hard time conveying their real feelings. Like, they can't admit they're wrong. They can't just say, I'm sorry, too. Mary Cosby, once again, voice of reason. We truly live in a simulation, folks. Anything can happen. Alien drones are in New Jersey. TikTok's gone. New inauguration next week. Like, what? Everything's gone haywire. Whitney in a talking head says, I know that Heather didn't intend for what happened tonight to happen, but I'm grateful that she had the courage to make us do this because it was really healing. Because I don't know how you could sit through the table without just absolutely surrendering to the truth. Okay, that line stood out to me the 4 times I've watched this, and it to me is some real Mormon shit. It is some real Mormon surrender your truth to the God. Like, it really feels like, oh, this is what we did. Like, be closer to the Spirit, surrender, like just truth. I mean, I was like, dude, I was like, God, they were raised in some shit. I like that Whitney got to say healing one more time. And there is this part of me, it flashed for one quick second, where I was like, are Heather and Whitney in on this little bit together? Like, I sometimes feel like, because they were the two that were like truly Bravo fans going into this experience, they watched all of it. They've talked about that. And it's great TV, so why wouldn't you watch it, right? But they know how this shit goes. Is there any, like, this, I know, you know what? No way. I know. But there's part of me, it's like, I don't know. I sometimes, like, by the way, it works. It is so bizarre, so unreal, but so entertaining. And it's unreal, but it really does hurt. You can tell this fucking hurts Lisa, Meredith. Like, Meredith is full. I think she's one season away from being like just fully like losing her mind. Like, she is going to be driven to losing her mind. Like, I feel like she is just like, she was despondent at that breakfast table at the very, like 3 hours ago when we started this recap. Can I have a little capoo? Like, anyways, Heather goes, let's get our stuff and like go home. Can I take her tacos to go? Okay. There's gentle music playing. I'm like, yeah, let's go home. Oh yeah, Brittany's still there. Mary's postscript comes on. It says, Mary thanks God for the help and support Robert Jr. has received, and they are taking recovery day by day. She is even more grateful that Jared Osmond has stopped DMing her. Hey-o! Cute. And we see Mary with Robert Jr., and they hug. It's very sweet. And remember, I had thought initially that the fight that we saw in the preview between Angie and Mary was about that. I bet Angie revealed stuff about Robert Jr. and Mary considered that a betrayal. But that wasn't what the fight was about. So these ladies still don't know the extent, allegedly, of the Robert Jr. at this part, which they obviously find out at the reunion. So Bronwyn starts walking out, and her postscript says, while her friendship with Lisa remains fraught, Bronwyn and Todd's relationship has grown stronger. Gwen, her daughter, still has no plans to meet her grandparents, which was a storyline earlier this season, and Bronwyn has no plans to host a couple's vacation unless Todd makes the guest list. Okay, and I think, is her daughter getting a tattoo in this? Anyways. So the ladies are still just getting up, and then it says, Whitney has finally sworn off speaking to bloggers and engaging in the rumors and the nastiness. Instead, she's pouring that energy into making Prism a bigger success. She also vowed to keep Justin out of... She also vowed to keep Justin out of her drama. And then all of a sudden, Heather puts her sunglasses on. It's nighttime. What? And Heather's postscript is, Heather finished her book tour for her second book and has begun working on a third. She realized her time is better spent writing nonfiction than nasty text messages. Spoiler alert, Mormons are somewhat involved. No shit. Does the Pope shit in the woods? Of course it is. Still a bad Mormon. So that's Heather's. Heather's is the last, right? Now, Brittany didn't get one, but Brittany's not a full-time housewife. Heather in a talking head says, friendships are hard. They're not easy. They take a lot of work. But if tonight was indicative of anything, I'm horrible at picking games to play to bring people together. No, she says, if tonight is indicative of anything, it's that these friendships are worth fighting for. Wait, what? Really? Meredith, Heather's nose just starts growing like Pinocchio. Wait, that's what you got from tonight? Oh, okay. Well, I got the complete opposite. Like, yeah. At what was the circle jerk thing? Was that the one that was like, oh, worth fighting for right here? Heather goes, and it's not over for any of us. And in fact, in many ways, it's just the beginning. We have more seasons in us, please. Next week, a 3-part Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. And we have them on set. Andy says, I'm a little worried for my ears today. Is there a safe word? And Lisa goes, besos. And Angie goes, opa. And then we hear all this shouting, and Andy's like, besos, besos, opa, besos, opa. We see that the husbands are there for part of it. Hell yeah. And then we see Andy talking to Bronwyn saying, I kind of thought you were going to wear the necklace to the reunion that you got in Palm Springs. And Bronwyn goes, I thought about it. And Lisa goes, I'm friends with the jeweler. And she said that nothing was purchased. By the way, I hope nothing was purchased. That thing was over $1 million. And that would have been insanely weird. Like, God, yes, I assume that wasn't purchased. But classic Lisa. Andy in a scene going, you also said on Twitter that Lisa's G-Wagon was repossessed, Angie. And then we hear the Todd father going after John Barlow. The Todd father goes, you asserting Bronwyn had a miscarriage. And John Barlow goes, watch your tone. And fucking Todd father goes, watch your tone. And Andy's like, okay. And in that moment when John was like, watch your tone, I was like, maybe he does get jerked out. And then we hear Brittany and Meredith fighting. And Brittany's like, I am talking. And Meredith's like, I don't care. I'm going to not let you spread lies about me. And then Andy in a scene saying, how is Robert Jr. doing, Mary? Mary's crying. Heather's crying. Andy's crying. And then a scene with Lisa going, you guys were saying maybe Lisa's had affairs. And Angie says, your friends, Lisa, sent me photos of someone you were dating. Zoinks, what? And then Andy says to Seth, you have a side chick in Ohio? Hey, it's me, Seth Marks. I'm there to do work with big lots and big lots only. No side chicks, just side hustles and a main hustle. They're both big lots, side and main. But like, Andy says this to Seth, and Meredith goes, I'm getting angry. The whole reason I came here was not for this. And she's standing up. And she goes, I am finished. Oh, you guys. Slow clap it. Slow clap it. We went through something together. Yes, this was so long. I do not want to get any comment. Oh, by the way, the fact that I'll say this, I'll get comments about the length of it. Just skip past it. Go to the little recap. Oh my God, you guys, we did it. Holy shit. And the thing is, I've got a whole nother segment that I'm not going to do right now. Oh, how am I going to fit? Well, there's a whole segment I want to do about Monica Garcia and her reaction to this finale. But we'll say, you know what? I'll put it into Monday's episode, and I might have a little audio from Monica Garcia from when I talked to her on the red carpet at Us Weekly that I've never played. But you know what? Let's end this here, the finale. We're going to have the Traders recap out on Sunday with Bergie. Our Burgalicious, our sweet Burgalicious is back. What a week, folks. I'm beat. How are you guys feeling? I want to go shower and circle jerk and call it a night. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for supporting me in this journey of losing my mind. I truly love what I do. Thank you. I hope this made you laugh at some point. I hope this played in the background while you did mundane things that you hate doing, and it made it a little better. But you're in the weekend. We used to say in 2024, and maybe this is the first time we're saying it in 2025, it's the weekend, so eat something good, drink something great, tell people you love them. Dance like no one's watching. Watch something good. Maybe not a reality show. Watch a movie. Read a book. Listen to the songs that make you feel so good. Maybe get some exercise. Go see nature. Stay off TikTok, or actually get on TikTok for the next day before it's gone. And I will see you here on Sunday. I'm going to keep releasing a lot of episodes in the next couple of weeks just because I need it to keep myself sane. It's here if you want to listen to it. If not, you don't have to listen to it. But always here. The lights are always on. Thank you, guys. I'm so happy to be done with this. But my God, what an experience. To the producers of Salt Lake, you are not listening. But my God, you guys, I'm so proud of you. You killed it this season. Congrats to all the production of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Very special this season. Okay, bye.